And we are live. A few minutes late. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
We had an anal scene. Somebody's happy.
Somebody's satisfied. There weren't any boobies in this one, so
Got some mushed face.
yeah, we did.
Face. Straight up. I mean, not as bad as the Red Viper.
No, that was memories.
I know. I tell you a story. Like my wife and I were supposed to go on a date right after the episode, and we just like.
No, I was broken after that.
Yeah.
Killed our children. Oh man, I remember watching that. Oof, I was so happy because I'd read the book at that point, and I was like, "This is pretty much perfect. I love it."
Yep. But
I
mean,
friend next to me didn't know what was going to happen. And I did.
Yeah, it was worse in the show than it was in the books. Like he just punches his face in. He doesn't like squeeze it like a zit. So, yeah, dude. Like, and I like there's certain things like I can handle all kinds of gore, but like compound fractures and stuff. There's certain things like no, I can't even do. No way. Nails being ripped out. Nah, I can't do that either.
No.
Seeing parts of the body you just don't used to seeing, inside of the skull.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm so used to the disembowelment thing is fine. Like
you see that every day. That's fine.
I want framing. Okay, so yes, I see lots of disembowelment. Buttholes trying to eat people. That happened.
Buttholes trying to eat people. Totally normal.
Ash versus the Evil Dead. He gets attacked by an ass. He gets attacked by an ass and tries to eat him. Hi,
as a medieval expert, Shad, you're familiar with that? Roaming asses.
Hey, Ash versus Evil Dead, fantastic show. One of the best. It's like the Cobra Kai of horror. They brought back an old character, introduced some new ones, and it was perfection. The first season was absolute perfection. Go see it. I know, Bauhaus, says somebody. Well, welcome to the House of the Dragon, episode 5. We're halfway through, and this was a good episode. A little slow in the beginning. Some really on the nose humor in one scene. Well, I can't wait when we get there. A little sword fighting. Shad will like this scene about the sword fighting. But
I just like swords.
But a good ending.
I know the subtext. Oh, what does that mean?
Yeah.
We don't do subtext here.
Look, I didn't say I like goose, okay?
Yeah.
I like geese.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was the other one? Duck
Duck or geese?
or geese. The analogy they use in the book is fish. Is not like in fish. But oh well. We're talking about Lenore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I follow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, MauLer. How's it going?
Hello. Yeah, so there's gonna be some people confused. My PC broke 2 days ago. It stopped the EFAP from happening, which is annoying. And it got fixed this morning actually. So that's lucky. I had a backup setup that would have made me sound like shit. But I am here with my normal setup. Thank goodness. It was actually Metal Commander who's responsible for getting things back on. We had to do a little video call for like 2 hours. I was tinkering with the insides of my PC until I managed to essentially hotwire it. It is in a bad state, but I'm getting a new one at the end of December. It's just got to last until then. So let's hope it does.
Meta PC should make a MauLer PC. That's what they should do.
I've considered it, but I've just classically always had someone buy a bunch of parts and build it with me, and so I'm just going to get Mel to do that.
You youngsters do that. See, I have a youngster to do that for me, which is so much better.
Us whippersnappers running around building PCs.
Making your PC, playing your games. I have no problem with that at all. I think it's great.
I think it's great you guys play your little games.
Awesome. Play your little games all day.
It's so cute.
It's adorable. Shad Brooks. It feels like we spoke.
I know. Gosh, back again. Love it. Oh, so, guys, holy crap, I love this episode. So, I think is my favorite. Like, there's so much going on, and I had to whip out something special here to reflect it. This is a Lockwood longsword. It's my most expensive and fine sword. Okay. And this is a special longsword. It is a precision type of weapon. Okay.
Ooh.
Like a scalpel. This is for competent use, which kind of reflects the quality of this episode, because this episode is so well crafted. So much happens, so much subtext, great character work. I loved it. Did I? Oh, it's very good. Very, very good.
Help but note your sword is green. I
Ooh.
feel like
This sword is green, guys. Is
I
that a
think he said
reference?
green.
I was gonna,
Green.
yeah. I only have minor criticisms, but I also love the episode. I forgot to mention that part.
There's one
And,
scene where it's like, we get it.
And I'll quickly do a shameless plug, because my graphic novel is available to everyone who is interested. Graphic novel adaptation of my book, Shadow of the Conqueror. It's available on Indiegogo. And guys, if you like great stories, phenomenal art, top tier art, go grab a copy. And if you want to go even further, I got leather bound editions for both the graphic novel and novel. These are premium, beautiful things.
That's what I got.
love them. Oh, they're so nice. So nice. So
That's
check
what
it
I
out.
pulled the trigger on.
Legend, thank you so much. And I'm really excited for people getting their hands on these. I think they'll really love them.
Artist is Mike S. Miller from Hedge Knight fame.
Yeah. Seriously. So
There's a Game of Thrones connection there.
connection to Game of Thrones. If you've seen the Hedge Knight prequel Game of Thrones graphic novels, the artist, one of the best artists in the business, Mike S. Miller, like absolutely. And he did the art for Shadow of the Conqueror, Volume 1, Enemies of Self, available on Indiegogo. Guys.
Oh, awesome.
Ooh.
Book adaptation art, it can vary. Mike S. Miller does a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Wonderful job. So I can't wait. And hey, we have somebody else here. We need some female representation. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have Jayne Theory. You might know her from the As reviews or her own channel. Welcome. How are you?
Hello. Happy to be here, especially coming off of a Rings of Power review on this channel.
Oh, my
I'm a palate
condolences.
cleanser.
That was painful to get through.
Look, you guys, you hate as much as you want. It reminds us of how good this show is, or at least it's good in that
It
way.
does.
They have all the
appreciate it
same
for the
resources essentially. Look what they did.
House of Dragons looks better. It is so much better written. The execution, the character work, and for a lower budget.
If
This episode looked nice, but for
It goes
me,
to show
if this were
getting good performances. That's all we're wanting. A good story.
Yep.
If this
Not
were
too
a
much
relay
bad.
race of like storytelling, House of the Dragon is just lapped it several times. Rings of Power. It's moving right along. It's we could all see the powder keg. It's coming.
Yes.
Good lord, all the characters, all of these positions. But Rings of Power, I still don't know what the elf dude's doing.
Hey, they let him go with all his weapons and with an important message and then tried to kill him.
You know, trying to
Yeah.
good God, man. Let's not.
Not yet. No. Especially since I just did a review. You came off a review. Shad just came off a review. Let's talk about a good thing, okay?
Well, I can give us a segue back that connects the two, because one of my big criticisms of Rings of Power is how awful the writing is, and they just have these non sequiturs where someone just changes the subject without anything. In this episode, there is an intentional non sequitur that is executed perfectly. And it just shows the difference in competence in how they do it, where it was the House Valerian guy, he mentions Otto, the king, he instantly gets a bit awkward. He looks down and is like, "You're doing well, aren't you?" And you can tell that he is intentionally changing the subject. The acting cued it off perfectly, and it's like, yes, because you can do non sequiturs in dialogue if it's intentional, if the character in the scene wants to change the subject. But so often in Rings of Power, someone says something that you would expect the other character to reply to or answer, and then they just do something else because the writer needs to push it in another direction. They don't know how to do it. And so just clear point of comparison, how much better and competent House of the Dragon is to Rings of Power.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, again, the big difference, if you don't want to come back to Game of Thrones, I'm never going to begrudge anybody I am completely surprised I'm into this show at all. I think it has a lot to do with what's going on around there. But there's also the people involved, brand new. Everybody's brand new. Like the head of Warner Brothers is brand new. So this is a whole new crew. There's probably a lot of technical crew that are on this show that have a ton of experience that had nothing to do with the storytelling. We're just paid to make sets.
Right.
Damn, like filming in actual castles. You know, I'm sure there's tons of green screen too, but they're filming in actual sets and castles. Makes a big difference, doesn't it? It just does.
We're on a high school stage. With the set behind.
Remember in the first episode, MauLer, we're like, oh, the cart they're pulling is real. The cart that the horses are real. And
I also, you could go back and watch it. That first review, I don't even know character names. I'm just struggling to stay like into it. But now I'm like, oh god, I gotta see what happens next. Like, what's I said one of the possibilities of the show could earn my interest, and it absolutely has at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it starts out with Matt Damon, Targaryen, going back. Well, we see House Royce. I mean, that's the first time we've ever, it's in the Eyrie, but we haven't been to this place before. We've seen Bronze Jan later on in Game of Thrones, but we've never seen like the true. Well, it's not the true runic armor, but it's supposed to be if you are the Lord of House Royce, you get this copper, right? It's copper, right? Runic armor.
Oh, I'd look leather. I thought they were wearing leather.
It's supposed to be copper. It's leather in this. It's supposed to be a copper.
They had like copper over the shoulder pieces.
Copper, bronze.
Yeah, they had bronze over the shoulder pieces, and I think there's a little bit of bronze bit on the upper part. But interestingly enough, one of my two first observations this episode were just visual things. Awesome looking castle. The first thing is a castle, and it's just mwah, chef's kiss. So yeah, I'm going to appreciate that. And then the armor, right? I'm not a fan of leather armor, and it's rarely ever done right. This is probably the best depiction of fantasy leather armor I've ever seen. It's solid. It's hardened. All right. That would take a couple of good blows. I was like, in terms of just the visuals, the props and the costuming, wow, this show is really impressed me on that front.
Everything looks like it's homemade. Like someone actually came together and sewed this. They made the leather. They carved the designs into it. They took time and attention versus that other show where they just bought it at Walmart.
Got a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I don't know if there's an easy answer for this or if it's just something you maybe don't know, because I don't know if you could find out in the book, but how come someone as, let's say, highborn as Prince Daemon was marrying someone like her? You would have thought there would be a higher house to make more useful political sort of binds. Like Royce, are they particularly high up at this point in the Seven Kingdoms? Like, are they? Because I was just surprised to know that. Because
no, they are. I mean, it's kind of like the Erie's version of the High Towers, maybe, but not as rich. They have a lot of power in the Eyrie, but they're still like vassals of the Arryns.
Mm-hmm.
And that I don't remember that. I've read the book. Do they explain that in the book? Why? I mean, I can't remember.
Because it seems like he and she hate it, and I don't know how much of a political benefit it has. Doesn't seem like much.
Okay, at the time, Viserys is married to an Arryn, right?
Yes, yeah.
She's married to an Arryn, so it's probably one of her vassals to try to, because at the time Viserys married into the Vale to get their army, because their army could compete with the North. So it probably had something to do with that. I'll marry an Arryn, you marry their second largest house. That would be my guess.
Okay,
That would make sense.
Yeah, probably knowing that Daemon was a little wild, and yeah, it just didn't work out.
So did Jazz. I thought Matt Damon's wife was pretty. It's like, yeah.
Which brings us to
well, in the books, it alludes to she doesn't like boys.
That would explain it.
That would also, it would add more to the tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I happen to be known as the patron saint of boob armor. It's just this thing that people have, given me, and I approve of her boob armor. It was effective. It just had, a proper shaping to pronounce the feminine features. I think yes, yeah, and it was practical. It was functional and practical as well. It's like I approve.
I get the feeling that she might have done her duty with him if he'd shown her an ounce of respect.
Oh yeah,
He hated her.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not what
yeah.
he wanted, and she didn't want him either. So there you go.
Yeah, he wants a Targaryen. That's what he
Yeah.
wants. He just wants a Targaryen.
I mean, we've seen him insult her a lot, but this is the only scene where we saw her, and the only way interaction she had towards him was also insults, and it could be that she was an absolute cow to him from the beginning on top of it, because we don't have any other context to know who was making that marriage awful. It seems both, actually.
Yeah.
And
A lot of Targaryens believe that they are better than other humans. They think they are. Yeah. So, and he would be one of them.
Viserys in Game of Thrones definitely had that going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what was neat is that she has like almost a mini arc, or at least she gets to understand his character in the matter of a few minutes in terms of what we've learned over the season.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because like, you know, I've had conversations with some people about why isn't he killing Rhaenyra and stuff, and it's like, I think it's become very clear at this point he has no interest in killing his own blood. He wants them to be as strong, as powerful, but you still can hate them or be critical of them and stuff. As he said, like, he's my brother. I can insult him. You can't. Remember that? And that was episode 2, right?
2.
I think 2.
Yep.
But yeah, just her realizing, like, you know, he has a set of options in terms of getting what he wants, and there's a more obvious one than the one she thought he might do.
Yeah, because it's funny, because we're at that moment right now, I guess, where she's riding the horse and then she runs right into Daemon, who now, and it's funny, like, sometimes there are like, oh, how did they know they'd pass this? You know, but if this is a regular ride that she does daily for a hunt, and this is a pass that she comes back and is familiar enough, I think he could meet her and cut her off.
Yeah, he's probably aware of where best to do it as well.
And so then she starts to kind of mock him while you're back, and the line that I specifically, because she's like, "What, have you come back to finally consummate our marriage?" and stuff, and so she instantly starts digging into him, and I kind of liked the dialogue.
And that's what I felt like alluded to her feeling she had been scorned or sporned.
Good point. Good point.
But...
Yeah.
What a face.
But didn't she mock him that he wasn't able to finish?
Yes.
Because oh
yeah, she was just rolling them out, and I think when we were watching it, I was like, she better be careful, he might kill her.
Well, that's the thing going around. He wasn't able to finish with Maseri, and he didn't even want to start with Rhaenyra. So people are thinking like he can't finish, but like he can. You figure it out later.
Yeah.
But I guess nobody likes to be. Plus, like, taunting the most dangerous man in Westeros, probably not a good idea. Just
taunting a person with a dragon. I've never understood how they continue to do that.
But I think it's informed by the fact that she's like, well, I'm married to him. What's he going to do to me? Like, why would he kill? He's not going to do anything to me. I can be a bitch to him. But it's like, well.
And she's a Royce.
Yeah.
She probably feels she's protected by House Aaron, but
nope.
Yeah, that would not be a good idea since House Aaron now has no power.
It's so funny, right? Because just in the matter of, they have really set Daemon up to be a character who he's willing to do anything if it gets him what he wants. And so it informs that what he does here, and as to how culpable he is certainly culpable in some measure. It's in line with his character, but there's a bit later on where a character starts to taunt him and saying, "What will you do?" And I was like, "Don't tell him that! You do it!"
Where don't you see the warning signs?
But then something else happens. But look, I love character work like that, when their character is defined and established so well that, one, you know what they might do in a given circumstance or what they're capable of, and it puts you on the edge of your seat because it could go multiple ways, and multiple ways are also in line with the character, and it's just like, oh yeah, it gets me.
This is why he made a freaking great doctor, okay? Because he could be this like foppy, fumbly doctor type, but then when he goes dark, he can do this shit on, right?
Oh hell yeah!
It never has to say a word.
Not a word.
He's been absolutely as great as everyone thought he would be. Like he's just been great.
So yeah, he doesn't say anything, does he?
Yeah. Well,
No,
the line
not
that
listening.
Exactly. And she's taunting him. And then she's like, what will you do with the girl? Because she's taunting him that the girl's taken his throne, right? She's now the heir. You're not the heir. And then she says, what will you do now? Strike the child down? Thank you, kill her. But then she pauses like, or, crap.
Oopsie.
Because you could see the progression of logic is like, you can't kill her. So what? You gonna marry her? But hang on, if you're going to marry her, you'd need to get rid of me. Oh, crap.
Yeah, because he did try at first to suggest that he could take a second wife. Like,
he tried.
Yep.
That little look up could have been to her, or it could have been I got a dragon, right? Every time I look up, my dragon could be coming just to swallow you whole. And I mean, there's a lot of plausible deniability in this scene. And then she gets, I don't care if I get hit for this.
It's this subtle increase in the wind in her hair that makes me think the dragon was nearby. And maybe
she's got to be thinking about it every time you wrestle with any Targaryen as a dragon rider. That's got to be on your mind. We even saw it in episode 2 with Otto threatening Daemon, which would have worked out that the dragon turns up and he's like, well, I lose. Like that's basically it.
Well,
so
good show, mate. I tried. Thank you.
In terms of the discussion, did he arrive with the intention to killing her? They play out this scene so well to make it a slightly ambiguous, and it gives me the impression that he was considering it, but he wasn't there yet. But things play out in such a way that he kind of goes with it and takes advantage of the opportunity. The way it plays out, that's my impression. What do you guys think?
What do you think would what else would he be here for? Just to sort of talk to her, or
consummate the marriage?
He seems doubtful. Undecided. He is like he's a bit lost because he was just banished, and so he doesn't really know what to do. Yeah, so you think it was definitively to?
Yeah, I think I might line up a little differently than you. I saw this scene as he absolutely was coming here to kill her, and that he managed to get, like, what happened with the horse was he was just able to take advantage of a very useful thing that happened there. Like the whole the way that he kills her as well. Like, I think it's just it's to make, for all we know, right? What he could have done is put the stone behind her head, picked her head up, and just rammed it down on the stone so that it can look vaguely like she fell on it. But any maester worth their salt should be able to tell, right?
Yeah, right. Well, when it gets reported to the king that she fell, broke her back, and crushed her head, you can see on the looks of their faces. And again, great. This is just great character work. You can see they're like, that doesn't happen when you get thrown from a horse. And Daemon's not stupid enough to, make a connection that this type of death is a bit more conspicuous.
And moreover, they even mention it. They specifically mention how good a writer she is.
Yeah.
And how suspicious
if you look at the way he's dressed as well, there's a good chance he rode the dragon over here in a less populated sort of route, landed it, and then scurried over here, did this, and then scurried back and flew back, hopefully not being seen by anybody.
Good point.
So far as anyone knows, he hasn't been there.
And like I said, I think it makes sense that he would know her route to some degree, so he knew how to get here in time, and then use the fact that she would never expect him to kill her. Like, because I completely agree with you. Matt Damon Targaryen, he's been very well characterized up to this point, so this whole scene felt like it all makes sense.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be plausible. At least we're giving them the benefit of the doubt, which I wouldn't give most of the shows I watch in the last 5 years. When I'll give the benefit of the doubt that this was trying to make you believe that, I think he wanted her dead, but I think it was just a happy accident. These all happy accidents. Oh, whoopsies.
I think he fully intended to kill her. It was going to be one way or the other, but she was not going to live another day.
No, and she just walked right into it, dummy. Yeah.
It was interesting to think about, by the way. If you watch the episode without this scene, it's still kind of as an experience. It's just that we are just like everyone else in the realm at that point. We're told like she stumbled on a hunting trip and just broke her back and her head. You're like, really? It's just like, yep. And he's just like, oh man, that sucks.
You see that little
Like,
grin?
yeah.
When she went for his her arrow, he kind of cocked a little bit.
And so this looks like she spooks the horse when she reaches for the weapon
Yeah.
there.
Well, it's you mentioned it's reflective, right? Like your emotional state, the horse will detect it to some degree, especially if they're close with you.
Yeah, and somebody else is in the horse's space.
Mm-hmm.
That'll affect it too. According to my wife, who's ridden horses, I haven't. I will never get on a fucking horse. Just won't.
I do wonder too. I mean, we know the Targaryens have a bond with their dragons. I've always wondered if they had the ability to, I don't know, somehow communicate in some mystical way with other animals the way the Starks can. I mean,
Like-
they're not wargs, but
their
some sort of
blood,
connection.
something in their blood, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, her fear of a potential dragon would have been sensed pretty hardcore. I imagine. I could definitely see that as a bonus, but yeah, it does look like she spooks the horse almost.
Her drawing a bow. I mean, like think of the action. Like she was going to kill him. She was going to kill a Targaryen, a Targaryen prince that would have started. What if she killed him? Had a bit of freaking war on the Vale, like right there and then. So she would have had to hit the body and stuff. But so that she was definitely in fear. She was shitting her pants.
And it looks like Daemon here is reaching to like settle the horse, but that causes it to go back even further. And so that's the plausible deniability part. And that is one of the parts where it makes me think, did he intend to kill her here and now? Like, because that looks to be he's trying to stop it. And so again, I like that the show is doing this because it makes the discussion, become quite engaging. Like, what's his intention? What's going on? But what you see here, it really looks like he's trying to settle the horse, but it backfires, causing it to go all the way.
That's real. I can never. That's a brave stuntman right there. If it's real, I don't know.
Yeah, horses can hurt.
Yeah, and then she boom,
and it lands on her. Oh,
did he push the horse?
So, he could have. See, that's the thing. It looks like he was either trying to pull it up or, like, don't know.
That's what broke it back then, and then he finished the job, right?
You're right, because this is the other thing. The camera's like actually cut to having the horse in front of Daemon, so we can't see what he's doing as it was going all the way over. And so he could have been pushing it at that moment. We don't know. And I love that they're making it a bit ambiguous because people of the realm, it's ambiguous. How did she die? And now we have that kind of impression a little bit too, where it does seem though
Well, I was going to say, it's less ambiguous for us in that we know he executed it.
Because we see him pick up the rock. And so you can't misinterpret that part.
All my notes were the bronze bitch dies.
He did indeed.
But even in this state, she keeps talking trash. Like,
he does.
Okay.
He does. Pussy. You can't eat it. So he does.
He's like, I'm just looking for a good rock. Jeez.
Give me time.
Yeah, give me a sec. Yeah, he's not looking that upset right there.
No, he's fine. It's like, oh dear.
Oh darn. Now I can marry my cousin. Woo. Oh wait, I can't. She's gonna get married.
Yeah. So much fucking politicking.
I know, right? Poor Viserys this episode too.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
Just want to pat him on the back.
Poor guy. You tried. You did your best. You did fuck up a couple things, but you did your best.
We're off to a good start. We've done like 30 seconds or whatever of episode. Like we're just like
Yeah, we'll probably have to go a little fast, but I did want to go over that. Hey, the horse is fine, everybody, though. The horse is fine. Yeah, so she taunts him a little bit, and then we get a C6 scene, which we don't need to see.
And a first reveal that we can see who the new hand is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's Lionel Strong. Lionel Strong.
Yes.
But you can't get a read on. Seems like a good guy, making some pretty decent suggestions. But one of his sons is completely loyal to Daemon, and the other one is Littlefinger. There's going to be a couple of Littlefinger Varys type characters, and he's definitely one of them.
Not to I don't mean to jump. I could say this without really talking about what happens in the scene, but I quite appreciated when everything breaks out, when the thing happens at the wedding celebration-y thing, that he like signals to his brother, I assume, and that brother like immediately gets a job done that is important. It seems that Lionel is very, very, very careful and smart. And we've seen throughout the show, very deliberate, considerate in everything he says and does. I quite like him. He's interesting. And I'm curious if he's going to play a grander role in terms of, what he's in. Dude, did you see the next time on thing? His the way they've aged him up is quite noticeable as well. I really like the effort they put into that, especially with Viserys. Holy shit. Like, I said to Gary, looks like a crypt keeper now.
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse.
Yeah. Well, again, nothing but sympathy for my man. Poor guy.
There's Otto. Otto's.
Oh yeah, I love this scene. I thought it was great.
Same. And what he says to the Queen here, just so like no pretense. Now this is the reality. Oh yeah, it was powerful.
It might be my favorite Otto scene, actually, because I'm assuming you guys picked it up as well, but I feel like this is the most genuine expression of his love for his daughter as well.
Well, but I mean, you also have to look at the fact that he put her in this position in the first place, and now he's warning her of the consequences of it.
Yeah, I still think Otto totally believes he's doing the right thing for the realm. That's. I think he is convinced. Like, hey, he's very pragmatic. It's like, I don't care. He even says it. Your friend could be the greatest queen ever. Doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter. This we're going to war. So maybe being alarmist, or maybe he's like spot on. Who knows? He's still scheming. But people have a way of rationalizing things in their head, and that's the kind of character you want that feels real for something fantasy.
Because she even seems to call him out for the thing that everybody's called him out for. He's pretty much just like, yeah. Well, I mean, you want some realities here? Like, you're gonna get killed. Your kids will get killed. It's like, it's this. I'm just telling you the fact is, and then like ends it with like I don't want you. I like you. Like,
and well, he's all and he goes, Rhaenyra will have no choice. He even like says like, it's not if not she'll want to, she'll have to. Her sons will force her to do it, or
you can hope she doesn't.
Yeah,
and it's worth keeping in mind. Someone could say like he's positioned her so that her children would have to battle for succession and stuff, but at the same time. Viserys was always going to remarry. He was always probably going to have more kids. So all Otto did was just position his family to be in that position. Just to be like, yeah, I'd like us to get some more power. As he said, and he is totally correct. It's like your son is going to have a way better claim. That's just how this shit works. Just
constant little tiny reminders of it with Lannister at the wedding, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah.
And his line where he says, to secure her claim, she will have to put your children to the sword. It's like right in their face, just blunt. Oh, and like, what would Alicent do in that position? And even if Otto's wrong, it's painting a grim picture that this could be a very real possibility. And you can really see how this is making Alicent waver in her intents and what she wants, and so it's building it up very well for me.
I think this definitely pushes her to the point where she starts to make very serious decisions about her future and her children's future, but it's little seeds planted over the course of the episode before we get to that final reveal.
And if you remember, it's like, because this just echoes everywhere, because it's George's writing, I suppose. That's why he wants to repeat these events, but simultaneously it's just the characters never seem to learn from the histories of their own world. But you have the introduction for Tywin in Game of Thrones. He says this is like the most important moment for Lannister House. Either this will establish a dynasty that'll last 1,000 years, or will fade into nothing like the Targaryens. And if you remember, when they tell us in the show, and then you read about it in the book, is that when he betrayed the Mad King and killed everybody, he made sure he killed every Targaryen he could find. Basically, erase the family, get rid of it, so that it could never have civil problems like this. And of course, that's what Robert Baratheon wanted to do: wipe out the Targaryens where you find them, so that they don't eventually come back with an army and burn your entire city. Bobby B was right.
I'll never forget. That's what I said. I said first of his name was right.
We did listen, Bobby B. We did listen.
Sorry.
It is like such a brutal reality, and of course it's immoral, but it's interesting because we see parallels in history. Hey, I even did it in my own book actually, because there's a revolution and stuff, and what do you do with the seated power, but also their family? It's and so
I mean, it's
that's why this
arguably-
scene hits hard. Yeah,
It's not, or I don't think I would say that it's immoral. I mean, in this situation, yes, she's been put here, but she is facing a very real situation. Her kids will die. There's absolutely no way.
I was referring to executing the families of the
Well, you have
deposed
to.
monarch.
You have to completely get rid of them. Just the reigns of Castamere all over again. You have to destroy them.
Because remember, man, Tywin, he just knew how it all. That's why I'm seeing a lot of Tywin in Otto. You know how it works. You know how the game is played. You've got to make these decisions, otherwise, you just gradually watch your house fall apart.
They constantly. There's two times in A Dance with Dragons where they call back to Tywin. The Griffin, when he had in the Battle of the Bells, when he battled Robert, he didn't go full Tywin, and he knows it, but he didn't want to be labeled a monster.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Still didn't want to be labeled a monster. He still wanted to honor. He still wanted to honor. And then Jaime is sitting there, I guess, having some wine with a Blackwood kid, and he says the same thing. He's like, he talks about the Bracken and the Blackwood Civil War. It's been going on. They've been fighting Hatfields and McCoy
Forever.
And he just goes, well, my dad would have ended it like he would have just made, he just would have killed everybody.
Yep.
And the Blackwood kid goes, well, what about this heir's son? He's all, no, you kill them too. You kill them all. That's how you deal with enemies.
Root and stem, take it all out. And what's interesting as well, I guess, is that you look at the scene in this where he talks about what songs will they sing about me? I didn't overcome anything. I didn't have any great this, that, and the other. Reigns of Castamere, it's played a lot. It's played a lot. And what a great song.
It is. It absolutely is. In all of its versions. So as the shadows come to dance. I like that one too. When the little girl sings it at the end there. It set up so much that never happened.
This, by the way, talk about this. This is, I fucking adore Tywin as a character. The fact that his downfall is his own family when that was his whole motivation. It's so beautifully written.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to pay attention to the kids.
Yeah. That's
And
the one thing he
scenes for
didn't
next
control.
week. Who's doing the voiceover for the scenes for next week? Who goes, your children are your weakness. Was that Laris or Lionel? It sounded like a strong to me. Sounded like a strong. So Otto leaves. That's a great scene between him and his daughter.
Yeah.
He says, prepare Aegon to rule or beg for her mercy, basically, which is not really going to work considering what happens. So,
and unfortunately, it's our only Otto scene this episode, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It was a powerful scene.
It's I'll accept being hurt that way, but that's fine. I'll see him again, I'm sure.
Yeah, you Welsh guys. What was it? Was it on your stream, Jayne, with Nina? I was listening in the background. Somebody
saying we deserve an apology.
Yeah, like the world deserves an apology from MauLer for Morphin Clark for some reason because she's Welsh. I don't think that's fair.
Hey, my apology is in the form of Reese Ifan, so he's right here.
There you go.
He's great. His acting in every scene is fucking great. I love him. So
yeah, he's great. He's great.
Yeah.
Patty Constantine. I'm gonna say Constantine just to piss people off now. No, Keanu Reeves is back as Constantine. That's great. Except
I do apologize for Morphin Clark, though. That's not my fault, but I still apologize.
yeah,
You take responsibility.
On behalf of my whole country. Seriously, like, not to deviate, but holy shit, she is so frustrating to watch.
I've never seen a character with more resting female dog face than Galadriel ever. Wow.
You say resting, active too.
Just active as well. Everything.
Digs her own grave every single scene, basically. And
yes,
gets rewarded for it. Oh my god. Sorry, let's continue with that. I've seen comments on these streams before. It's like, oh, they didn't just get into ripping into Rings of Power as much this time. That was nice.
You cannot contrast them like that. That it is night and day. And when we see this is like 5-star meal. And then
you're right. I love that they're both coming out at the same time, and I think it may be unbalancing my enjoyment because I just love that I could sit back, watch something that was good, and as a result, I had so much joy watching this episode. It was multiple times. I just like yes, woo, stuff like that. When I saw things happen in line with character play, I was like, when Damon comes into the wedding, I was like, oh my God, of course he would. That absolute bastard. I love it. And so, look at what you can get out of a good show versus the crap that is Rings of Power. And so, honestly, I understand people who have, been burnt by Game of Thrones. I think that's perfectly justified still. For me, honestly, I love this show. And if now I'm setting myself up because if they ruin it at the end, I was
going to say, Shad, I'm saving that statement if I make it for the finale.
We can't do that again.
The finale, I'll probably even stream as well. I don't see why not. We'll probably do a big old thing.
At the very least, I can say the episodes up to now, and this episode in particular, I loved. I really enjoyed it.
It's good television. It is.
But it does make you wonder where the money went.
Rings of Power?
Yes.
Oh, there's a massive coke habit. That's it.
All their producers, the executive producers, all their fat stacks
on coke. Well, God, I hope they have a good time. I've actually had a good watching it again is brutal. Reviewing this again is fun because I missed this is so cool. This is what I missed. So Ryan texted me a couple of weeks ago. I think it was 2 episodes ago, and he goes, "Hey, Rhaenyra leaves," or it was last episode, and that gold cloak she ran into was that Harwin Strong. I'm all, oh, it was. Oh shit! I totally missed that when we did the live stream.
Yeah,
well, that's a huge thing in the book. That little chance meeting is a massive thing in the book. So, I don't want to spoil anything because they could definitely go into it. But just remember that little, that little meeting that it's just. It seems like it doesn't matter. It matters.
Everything matters in this show. That's what I love. Every single scene has meaning.
Yep.
Well, that's what I mean. And that's how you do storytelling. Like the opening scene, right, showing Damon and her. You're like, so she's probably dead. Like, why else would you be showing me this? She's probably dead.
So, speaking of dead, King Viserys. Our poor,
I love this character.
I mean, I liked Robert in Game of Thrones.
I love Robert. I thought he was great.
But I really like King Viserys. I do. I got a soft spot for a dad who's just trying to keep his family together and do the right thing, and he's getting blamed for everything.
I know. And is suffering so much, and yet is doing the best he can for the realm and for his family. Like, look at that! This boat ride nearly killed him. It might have even, but he's doing it because he has to get it done.
And this is
This is as much of a massive sacrifice as so many people who do go to war. Like it's dying, yet is getting it done. And that is honestly a positive message about fatherhood, masculinity, doing the right thing for your people and your family. I love this character.
When you got a big old insight this episode when he was at his lowest, which is not going to be his all-time lowest, unfortunately. But what was on his mind? Have I been a good person? Have I done well? It's like, oh man.
I do remembered.
So much self-doubt because of just everything he's had to deal with on top of this debilitating disease, of which its nature, I imagine, is everyone's excited. I keep getting told by people like, you don't know. It's actually that. I was like, shh. Okay. I can speculate. I can talk with friends about what it might be before they tell me what it is. Okay.
Yeah. But people got to shut the hell up. But we get excited, because it's like, oh, you think that's nothing. Wait till you see this happen. Whoa.
Well, it's the worst when you're just like, oh, I think this character will do this, and then someone just goes, no. Well, maybe. Right.
We don't know because, the bronze bitch, she survives her little knock on the head in the books, or according to the maesters, who are unreliable. And she recovers, and then the first time she gets out of bed, she drops dead. So that's how it's played in the books. But again, it's unreliable narrators. That's why I hate the book.
I will say, way prefer this than what you've described there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
If they had said that at the wedding, like she
It's
got hit,
possible
in
she didn't
the
die
head.
right then.
Well, I guess the same thing may have happened in the show, and they just described it a little bit. But the idea that she got beaten her head in by a rock by David, and then she went back, they nursed her a little bit, then she stood up and then fell over and died. I just feel like, why did you do all that? Just
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you know, and yet you think Damon, once he's committed, he's going to make sure the job is done.
I feel like that,
Yeah. So
that's one of those, like, they shot themselves in the back of the head 7 times. Wow.
oh my God.
Yeah, he fell.
It's House Clinton.
He fell down an elevator shaft onto some bullets.
House Clinton. Yeah, you don't want to mess with them at all.
Do you see the memes where it's like the Queen has information on the Clinton?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh no. The horse wins. Yeah, the horse did come out the best out of that. Got rid of it.
Yeah, when it came back, they were like, "Horse, what happened?" He's like, "I don't know, man. I
Oh.
don't know. It's all weird."
Dude
Happened
came
so
up and
fast."
he looked up and my rider got scared and I was like, bro, and I just left, man.
I got scared, dude. I just
Adios. Yeah. So we got Will M for $20 says, I found it somewhat out of character for the knight to sell him and Rhaenyra out to the queen. He must have known how the game is played on that, or
slow down.
Yeah.
We'll get
Wait
there.
until we get there
We'll get
because
there. But he wants to know. So, like, we will answer that question. I promise.
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
Yeah.
We'll
Is
get
the odds with her through the succession all cause she wouldn't run away immediately. We'll get to that.
Oh, there's so much to say about that.
yeah.
Thank you for the $20. I will answer that one into the episode because there is a lot of layers there. A lot of layers there.
Oh.
That's the show.
Which is another.
we
I think
go.
that's a great thing about it. There's so many layers. There's so much depth there.
Yep. Viserys has to like not only get sick, go on a boat ride that could kill him. He has to swallow his pride and go beg Corlys Velaryon.
how well done it is that he
Yeah.
like is just awkwardly, like trembling and making his way and wheezing to a guy who's sitting on a throne, who's his, is lower, if you will, and like Corlys is aware of it, he's aware of it, but whatever, we're civil, right? Wink, wink. It's just like, yeah.
And Corlys doesn't even show up at the gates.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, that was intentional. So quick, we're back in front of the werewood again. The
Oh,
werewood
God.
that was never in King's Landing. So Jayne, this has to come up later. This,
Yeah.
You keep baiting it, show. What are you gonna do to this poor tree? What's gonna happen?
well, I mean, at this time, it's either a child of the forest, or there's another three-eyed crow, three-eyed raven up there in the north, or
Somehow?
there's another green sea or something. Yeah.
I think if you zoom in and enhance, you'll see the Bran is sitting on one of those branches.
I'm telling you, it could be Bran too. It could be Bran could see
No
it.
more brand.
Yeah. Oh.
What does that, like, you could be right, and I swear to God, I hope they don't do it, because I'll just be like, what did that add? What was the point of that?
If they go,
Leave me alone.
they go to that fight at the Long Night where he just like, I'm gonna go look at the bird, and the birds fly over like the Night King, and that's all he really does.
That
And the whole time he's just watching this show.
Dude, you just reminded me of whatever was like, why didn't he tell Theon to just wait a few seconds? That bastard. It's
Bran's a dick. Yeah. Bran.
fucking season 8, man.
Such a nice.
Decanonize season 8. Decanonize it.
And he got his download. Was never the same again. So this is Loras Clubfoot Strong. So this is one of the strong boys.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, they're getting around those strong boys,
now son of the Hand, talking to former daughter of the Hand, and saying what an injustice it is, and being nice, and then
offers, that she needs allies, or he's willing to be I forget his exact wording, but the manipulation in this scene, I like it.
They do all kinds of really fun dialogue. The opening line, he's looking at this little plant or whatever that's in the garden. He's like, this thing shouldn't be doing well in an alien place, sort of thing. Like the implication being, this thing here shouldn't be here while just the camera's on her. And she's like, huh? And he's just like, oh, hi, how you doing? There's dialogue like that. It's just juicy. Just like,
I love it.
Yeah, and he basically says, in the conversation, I don't know what the exact wording is, I forgot it, but it's essentially, well, I hope your friend Rhaenyra is well. And she's like, why wouldn't she be well? Oh, never mind. I didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't bring that up.
They do it all the time. Those whisperers, the bastards.
I'm not sure if you noticed the Grand Maester. It wasn't just the Maester; it was the Grand Maester. Which is a big deal, bringing in the moon tea, the Plan B, Westerosi Plan B pill, except it's tea. And, of course, Allison's like, what? And he's like, no, it must have been a mistake. She's fine. She's not well. She's off to get married. Everything's cool. That's great. That's awesome.
Now, this, because I think we may have even paused. It's exciting me because there's so much to talk about, right? It's like, what have we learned over this past few episodes? Like, look at this tapestry we got here. It's Otto was fired, and we talked about this in the last stream. He was fired for many reasons, not just one. But Alicent is under the impression that he was fired specifically because he was spying on Rhaenyra, just trying to get her in trouble, and made something up. She even believes Rhaenyra. She's chosen that. Otto even, has called her out for it vaguely on that. So, or maybe not vaguely. I can't remember the line. Point being, that is her perception of events. And so there's nothing to worry about. Rhaenyra never had sex. No worries, nothing. It's all bullshit. Then he's like,
and also, just to interject, Rhaenyra swore on the memory of her mother that she was still a maiden. That is such a massive, lie. But she went all in.
I think that's what would have convinced Alicent that it was absolutely true. It's true. And so this guy's just like, but the Grand Maester, he's looking after a little bit of medicine that very night, which by the way would have been consented by the king, right? Like, would Alicent be able to put that together? Because if she can, that poor girl, I think I said to Gary, it's like, well, she's just been given a nuke, and she gets given another one seconds later too. But yeah, that's great because it basically just put every single thing into question. And it's from a guy who just has no reason from her point of view to lie. Why would he lie? Why would he lie about any of this?
Right. And you get the sense that she's trying so hard to be intelligent about this and to be respectful and responsible. She wants to believe her husband. She wants to believe her friend. But this information suggests that something else is going on. And everyone at court is lying to her.
And and it's interesting as well because even with all of the clever ways that this guy speaks, she still is smart enough as a character to be like, what are you trying to say? Like, just get it out. Come on. And it's just like, nothing at all.
Nothing. It's fine. I'm sure it was a mistake. Total mistake. It's fine. And then like, what is the motivation of the strong family of the Hand? This is his son. Absolutely. Lionel knows what his son is doing and knows what Harwin is doing, who is just, kind of a brute. This one's the brains. And like, what do they want? Because like Lionel has been looking pretty like straightforward, like marry the Valerians, like strengthen your dynasty, saying very matter of fact, very smart things. And now his son's like, sneaking around. You don't know. And that's good. This is good. I don't know. I can't guess this, and I don't have somebody describing it to me exactly on screen. That does happen.
Yeah, as to exactly what his goal is here in this scene, I was going to say I'm not 100% sure yet, and I'm assuming that it'll become clearer as time goes on.
Yep. And honestly, they keep a lot of things vague in the book. And this is one of them. You just don't know. And that's the best part. Like Viserys in the books, you still don't know what the hell he wants. 5 books in, you just until the very end of the 5th book, you find out what Viserys wants, and it's quite the revelation. It's pretty cool that we completely missed in the books. Hey, we got a $50 super chat from Robert McDonald. $50. Thank you very much. Horses are prey creatures. Lifting the hand towards its muzzle that smells strongly of dragon would cause it to pull back in prey panic. Wow. Thank you. My wife said something very similar to that. Like getting in the horse's space, they're going to be all, oh, what's up? You know.
And they did establish very early with Rhaenyra that when they get off their dragons, they smell like the dragon. So that's
they
a
did.
very strong possibility.
I think that's a fair assumption to make. Yeah.
And this show would know about horses. They've like the people who have worked on the show in the previous one that ended in disaster worked with a lot of effing horses. That's what made it so damn expensive was the frickin' horses. That's why so many people go CGI. So yeah, that sets the seeds of another scene, and then we go we're at Driftmark. We get to see another castle, and that's pretty cool, I thought. And these sets are fucking awesome. These are just awesome sets.
Yes.
These wigs, not so much. But
the wigs are terrible.
Yeah.
Like what is happening?
Honestly, at this point, like Corliss's one is a bit of a sight that's a bit better than his son's one. His son's one is so distracting. It moves like it's brick. Like it just doesn't seem to have any flow to it.
It's not hair. I don't know what that's made of.
No. And I don't understand it. Like if he was a sailor and was on the seas a lot, his hair there would be bleaching in it. Absolutely. But if you spend like days and days and days on the ocean in the sun. But this is supposed to be of Valyrian descent, but his beard doesn't matches. But hey, on the others, they don't, all their eyebrows don't match either. And that's always bothered me. I've always wanted them to have the purple eyes. I think that is a big deal because it does make them look a bit alien.
Yeah.
It would have been cool.
Race apart.
Yeah.
I imagine it's literally opted out just because they were just like, that's a lot of effort and it's a bit strange. Maybe they thought.
I think it's a mistake.
I agree. I think it would have been cool to have it.
Yeah, they're supposed to be strange. I mean, they're beautiful, but they're very foreign and alien to all the other normal humans in the world. So I don't know why they want them to look so basic. That was one of my earliest criticisms of the show.
Yep.
The Targaryens just don't look Valyrian.
And so, out of interest, I just want to double check what the princess said to Alicent when she swore, that nothing bad happened. She specifically swore upon her mother that Daemon never touched her, which was a lie. Daemon did touch her, but she dodged the question of her virtue. And so,
the importance of that scene is the virtue. Isn't that what Alicent makes clear? She's like, it's your maidenhood that must be protected. So I think in the spirit of the scene, she's lied arguably twice over. And now Alicent knows.
Yeah, she lied by omission. It's still a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaky.
What? There we go.
And did you pick up on that they met in the Hall of the Nine Voyages, I believe they said? Or the Hall of the Nine in reference to the 9 Voyages.
9 Voyages, okay. Which could be another spinoff. That's cool. I didn't catch that. That's cool. Targaryen hair either came out silver or blonde. This was just like, what the fuck? I know.
Yeah.
Right? Totally.
He just looks like an old man with gray hair.
He does. So Corlys meets Viserys. Viserys wants to get this over with. You could tell he's coughing. He's sick. He has to bend the knee. He lets him back up. And then he asks, hey, let's join our houses. Something that should have happened a long time ago.
You would think.
Yeah. Sorry, it's on my mind. I was just gonna bring it up. Someone just super chat related to it as well. Even Shad's beard hair does not match his head hair color. So it is possible. It does happen. It's just that I think, Gary, probably the better one is it's distracting. To a degree.
What are you trying to say, MauLer? What's...
No, you're not distracting. You're beautiful. I'm saying the Valyrians can be like distracting in terms of the contrast of colors. But I would actually argue the thing that distracts me is that I'm pretty sure the beard is real, and so it's noticeably different than the rest of the hair that's obviously fake as well.
Well, it's a black beard with gray hair. It's a black haired beard with silver gray hair. Now he has gray in his beard too, so you could argue, but that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be silver or blonde.
Yeah. I think you can make the accuracy argument for sure. I think there are guys who go white in the hair or in the beard first, while the other stays black, sort of thing. It can happen, right?
I've got 3 different colors in my beards. Sure, I got gray, blonde, but like when I get out in the sun, it's blondish. Like
Mhm.
my hair is blondish.
It should be silver gold. This doesn't make sense.
I'll be out if I keep watching Rings of Power. I'll be gray in 4 weeks. It's all right. Except my eyebrows. They won't be gray. Hey, Matt Smith doesn't even have eyebrows. Doesn't look like it anymore. So they have to betroth the son and the daughter. Little monkey wrench in that. There's a little bit of a thing that but yeah, they try to really hammer home. Lionel Strong is witnessing this. Rainey's comes out. She looks happy. She grabs his hand and there's like, ooh, it's like goopy or whatever. It's like really gross or something.
No, I thought she noticed that he had missing fingers.
Missing fingers, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, was it? I thought it was that he had coughed into his thing and there was a bit of, I thought I even heard a sound effect for like a bit of slime, not slime, you know what I mean? Like what's the word I'm looking for here?
Did she wipe her hand? I think she wiped her hand a little bit.
Because he's holding the tissue in one and he holds her hand. Like I thought it was like, oh, and it was just like, oh yeah, fuck.
It was gross.
Because I think when we watched it, I was like, ew.
Big question here. Corliss asks immediately about like, hey, okay, so we're gonna get married. What about succession? How's it gonna be? So they make the compromise of any kids that are born will take the father's name of Valerian, but if they take the throne, they will take the name of Targaryen. And changing names on thrones is totally kind of normal. So,
well,
even
in my interpretation of this, I could be wrong, I guess, but it seems to me it's just like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll agree to that. And then when time comes, years and years later, who knows what'll actually happen?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But just even them asking when they was like saying we want our son to rule under this name, I was like, oh
yeah,
balls on that guy.
Yeah,
but it shows the position he's in.
Yeah,
everyone knows that they're on the brink of a civil war, so be careful. Every word matters.
It was a fair compromise, though. I mean, we've seen that before with the Starks and how their line survived because of the female name.
I just quickly rewatched that scene where the cousin lady shakes his head. It's definitely noticing the fingers is missing because they do a close up and you see his bottom finger and then it flicks. It's like it's just a glove and they do a close up.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay.
Little chit chatty.
That's the thing, man. Everyone's noticing he's just falling apart. Did you notice as well his wheezing? They really make sure you don't miss that. And they keep offering him a chair. He's just like, I can stand.
He has his dignity.
Yeah, of course. Pride as well. I just feel bad for him.
Yeah.
This thing known as on-location shooting. Remember that?
What do you mean? Elrond and Gil-galad totally went to that forest and through there and went into.
They were in Linden. They made Linden. Yeah. Also, to Robert's point, I think I remember that Balerion was said to only eat aurochs and other large animals. So horses would be large enough to be a consistently preyed upon species for full-size dragons, says John Kelsey for $20. Indeed. There's some horse feasting in A Dance with Dragons. So,
well, even if there wasn't a precedent, I think a horse is going to be terrified of a dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Josh Kelsey, for $20. Well done. So they're talking and they're working out their little thing. There was a quick scene. We'll just get past it where Laenor is sword fighting with the Knight of Kisses. The Knight of Kisses. Subtle.
Oh, yeah.
Knight of Kisses.
They had their swords out and everything. They were just swinging them.
Oh my gosh.
Right in front of everyone.
Right in front of everybody.
Rolling around.
Who would unsheath their sword?
I got news for you.
So, just on that note, the word sheath is Latin for something. If you want to look up the translation for sheath in Latin, you might have a raise. Oh, okay, then there we go.
Well, I'm going to look that up now.
I was going to say.
Oh, really?
Is it a naughty word you're not allowed to say? Or
it is. It actually means the lady part.
Oh my!
Oh.
Yeah, sheath actually is
Wow, it
Latin
does
for-
mean vagina. I can
It
say
does.
it.
That's actually the meaning of
Holy
sheath.
crap.
So if people are wondering about the symbology of swords and manhood and something phallic, well, they got the connection back in the day as well. So this has new me like, oh my, this might need to get censored now.
Ah,
You
you
give
can,
it time. YouTube will do that.
Yeah.
they will. Hang on, let's see. Prove it to you guys. I don't know if I spelled it right, but there you go. That's the translation.
Vagina.
What's
Vagina.
the translation?
The more you know.
I know. I need that clip, right?
Isn't that funny? It's like, it's just common language. There's like, oh, we'll make something to hold our swords. What should we call it? And so-
Vagina? Yeah. Huzzah!
And you can blame the Romans for this, by the way, Latin. Or early
Soldy
Greek.
holdy? They're like, no.
I hate the bloody Romans. The plumbing and the roads and the buildings.
I do like roads. They're good.
They do. All right. So, Laenor is gay.
Which
And
is important, honestly. It is.
it really is.
It
And
kinda is.
Rhaenyra, they work out a pretty good deal. They're like, hey, I totally know you're gay. It's cool. We'll do our duty and then we'll do our things. And he smiles. He's like, okay. And everything's going to be just fine in Westeros, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. It's such a well, there are some other people who are going to have opinions about all of this stuff. We'll have to wait for them.
What's interesting, or what kind of threw me at first, was just she knew so clearly and just comes out and she uses subtext and so what good writing in that behalf. And I was thinking, it felt like the parents didn't know, but then they have this next scene where the parents acknowledge it too, and I'm like, good, they needed to do that because that would have been a massive plot hole. And now I'm wondering if Viserys knows, and I think he has the slightest inkling. But is kind of ignoring it because there was a look he gives him, I think, at the wedding feast.
Ooh.
It wouldn't surprise me if it got around a bit, right? Like
Mm.
everything seems to get around in this world when it comes to stuff like that. And similarly, Rhaenyra's indiscretion may have gotten around to some degree, but it's like, fuck it, these two, they're getting married. It's a really good choice. Everybody just calm down. We'll just get this done. Before anyone says anything about anything.
You make that analogy with duck or goose or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
In the book, the maesters know.
It's discussed. Yeah.
It's discussed in the book, and they go, "Yeah, we know he likes boys. He enjoys the company of young knights. But doesn't matter. I don't like fish, but when I'm served it, I eat it." And
A great choice of words.
choice of words. I hate fish. I just don't like
The
seafood.
same maester who brings her the tea.
Yep. Yes. Melis.
No, something like that.
Okay, so this is Rhaenys and Corlys discussing their son's gayness. And it's like,
It's a phase. It's a phase.
Sailors,
We're out of it.
I don't know. And she's like, he's not gonna grow out of it.
Yeah. The mom's like, I don't think so.
He really likes him. He's hanging out with a guy named the Knight of Kisses. Okay. So either way,
He even allows it though. It's just so I've never understood that part. Like even in the books, why would you allow this knight to be around him, knowing what they're up to?
knowing knowing what they're up to and knowing how dangerous that could be, especially if somebody's kind of a little bit of a gossip.
Well, it depends on the house and their approach, right? Because we saw with the Tyrells, like they didn't care. They were like whatever. And I think even Olenna is like, oh come on, all the boys when they were younger fooled around with some guys. Which says that to Tywin, and she's like, you never. And he's like, no.
Yeah, no. So, but she does mention like they're never going to accept Rhaenyra on the throne. The knives are going to come out, and he's like, but we've got dragons. We're the most powerful house in Westeros. They wouldn't even dare. Which is also a good point. Except that if the other side has dragons too, that might be a bit of a problem.
A little bit, yeah.
Little bit of a problem. So
Those dragons, man, they cause problems.
But
Someone
still,
should get rid of them.
From their perspective, they would, at this point in time, they would think they would have all the dragons because their son is marrying the princess, and so that is House Valerian, House. Oh, my brain just went dead.
Targaryen?
Targaryen, yeah. All the dragons, and so they wouldn't be able to predict that. There might be someone else who has dragons.
They're not thinking that Alicent would challenge them.
But even if Alicent did, Alicent doesn't have dragons. She's not a Targaryen. And
no,
so...
but
she has a tower.
She has children.
You can swing that thing around.
She has children that have dragons.
Children have eggs, exactly.
Yeah.
And hatchlings. And I think by the time we get to the next episode, there's 15, 16 dragons, 17. They said they're going to have like something like 17 or 18 total in this.
And they're going to get the thing that they were selling the show on, probably a bunch of big dragon fights. Fire everywhere.
Vhagar is still out there, the biggest one. And then there's the cannibal, which is the I don't know if they're even going to bring it. They probably will. But they have to. That's the one on Dragonstone. That's the untamed one that nobody can mess with. And there's Sheep Stealer and Sea Smoke.
The three dragons that quote unquote invaded Westeros, that was Balerion. He's dead. What were the other two?
Vhagar's the last living one, but it wasn't one. Balerion was the last one from Valeria. Vhagar, I don't know. Oh my god, Caraxes?
I think that sounds familiar. So all three of the originals that came in to invade Westeros, are they all dead?
No. Yes. Okay. The ones that came to the one from Balerion was the last one from Valeria. But Vhagar was born on Dragonstone, but did invade Westeros.
I see.
Yeah.
There's some really cool dragon names. Balerion's so cool. The Black Dread.
The Black Dread.
It's funny. Now that you brought it up, I was actually literally going to mention that. Look, one of the things that just I love about George Martin is ability with name crafts like Lannister, Baratheon, Valerian. These are awesome sounding names with great kind of just word craft rolling off your tongue. Is a master at this stuff. Mm-hmm. Targaryen. That's like, these are good.
He reuses
names.
them a lot too, though.
Yeah, he does. Aegon is like, how many bloody kings are named Aegon? Holy crap. I know it's tradition.
Because a lot. I felt that I've been always very complimentary to Tolkien in his naming, but I'm like, it's like 9-1 where I appreciate shit tons, and then there's like Mount Doom, and I'm like, it's all right, it's fine. But then you have, something like the Balrog. I can't, it feels like the perfect name for that creature. It's so good,
doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Where are we? Oh no, not this scene.
I liked it.
No, it's dude, there's no scene I dislike. It seems to make me sad.
It was heartbreaking. Yeah.
My only criticism would be is that it's very out in the open, and all someone needs to look at them, and they are talking very familiarly. If I saw them talking like that, I would be like, "Hang on, those two have a relationship." That's pretty. And so you'd think they could have done it a little bit more subtly or covertly, but the actual dialogue and what's exchanged, loved that. I mean, this guy is now in love. This is what happens. Okay, and he offers his soul to her, basically.
This is alluded to in the book. There's so much mystery about their relationship that it's nice to actually see what actually went down. He's young, she's young. There might have been a time where she would have wanted to take off, but not now. Now that she's the heir, so he basically says he does the run off with me. Let's go tour the world. And she's like, no, I have a career. And basically what happened.
But that is honestly, it completely in line with her character. It seems from the very beginning she does want the throne. She's all snooty that she might be overlooked as heir, when they're going on the hunt and everything like that. And so she has a vain kind of side to her where she wants power and she doesn't want to be a mother that's only trap birthing babies. she's a Targaryen as well, and it's all in line. To me, there was no chance that she'd ever consider giving it all up and running away.
I love the line about her where he mentions that she should go with him for love and basically turn away from the crown, and she comes back with "I am the crown," which is very true. I mean, this is her duty, it's her responsibility. It's not something that she should run from. And maybe that shows a little bit of growth, at least I thought it did, until she makes her counter proposal.
By the way, Orodruin sounds like a way cooler name. Is
Orodruin.
Yeah, some people are saying that Mount Doom is more of a name that is like in universe sort of the characters see it that way, the doom of the world sort of thing. Yeah. That could work a lot better. Yeah.
Aemon Armuth. Orodruin. You gotta go Drun. Or I can do the Drun with like the kind of rolling your R with the D thing. The other I can't. And what we have to explain to some of the youngsters out there. Sorry to pull the old man card on you, but I'm gonna do it because I'm old.
Do it.
I read this shit before I heard any names. So like a lot of the stuff I say from comics and stuff is stuff like from when I was 8 or 9. Like I said Thanos. It's Thanos to me.
And you call it Golem.
And Golem. I call him Golem. That's just the way it's gonna be. Golem. He's Golem.
Were you surprised when you watched the movies that they called him Golem then? Were you like, oh shit?
And I still call him Golem. I've been doing it for years.
No, it could have been Golem. It could have been.
I still call him Golem. I'm a dumb American. It's all right. I'm fine.
We've all been there. We've all read books.
We've all been dumb Americans. You haven't been though.
No, I'd like to be. Experience the culture.
Hang out with us long enough, and you will. And plus, we got a Nazi here, kind of leveling things out a little bit too.
If you want just awful sounding words and everything, Australian accent is it will butcher anything. Give us a word. And
you say retarded better than anybody.
Retarded.
There you go. So yeah, he wants to go and tour the world, and they could just be in love. And she's like, yeah, no, can't do it.
I even got the vibe of like, we are so totally in love, we'll sacrifice everything for each other, right? And she's like, oh no.
I just like having sex with you. And I love like his response was like, am I to be what, your whore? And I was like, yes,
dude, that was
exactly what she wants you to do.
Well, then he brings up his vows though. I mean, like this is
it was great.
Guy who came from squalor, was raised up from nothing. It's the only thing he's ever had, and he fucked it off for a little bit of. Well, I mean, like,
he didn't have a choice.
Understandable,
he thought it meant more. That's the thing. He thought because he brings up the vows as soon as he finds out he's not sacrificed the vows for anything. It's nothing.
Well, he specifically said that he thought this would make it right. If she would marry him, it would fix it.
Yep. Which mirrors another relationship from A Song of Ice and Fire books that they didn't put in the show.
There have been awkward discussions about power dynamics with this one because people don't want to admit the truth.
Yeah, I know this actually recontextualizes my feelings about that scene before, because he was reluctant and then he kind of gets in the swing of thing and everything. But this would have essentially ruined his life if people found out about it. He was executed. Exactly. She can deny it. She has far less to lose. It's like you could say her kingdom, but not her life, than this guy, right? And he's sacrificed, like broken his vow, which is really important, the most sacred thing to him in his whole life. And then he thinks it's a bigger commitment. He thinks she's in love with him when she's like, oh, sorry, I just like having you as my boy toy.
Yeah.
Why would we like?
Now we didn't get an answer. Oh, go on, Jane.
No, I was just gonna say, you see that reflected even in that scene where she's taking off his armor and just throwing it on the ground like it's nothing. And she's about to do the same thing to his cloak. And he takes it and he folds it and he lays it down carefully. So you can see there it establishes how much it matters to him.
It's everything. And he just breaks down in this scene when he realizes that he's just lost it all to become, as he puts it, a whore. It's like, she's ruined him.
Yeah, to be clear, like I don't think the power dynamics. Like he did the part of the act as well. I don't think it qualifies for
It was
rape or anything.
consensual.
But the thing is, though, under certain people's standards in the modern world, it would absolutely qualify for rape according to their standards. So, if they were being consistent, they would, acknowledge this. But
they're not consistent, Shad.
Yes, I know, right?
Silly boy. No, like it's fun, but it works for the scene, and it like all of this is supposed to foreshadow things that happen in the main books. I'm gonna just keep saying that because that's all I want. Like I like the show. Fuck the show though. I'd rather have Wins a Winner, just to make that utterly clear. But yeah, what she should have said here is, sure, I'll go out with you, because that would have been much better for the realm. But not a good TV show. It's going to make for a pretty brutal TV show. So this is another big, huge scene.
Well, she also doesn't know how to read people. Like this shows her immaturity too, because she doesn't see what she's doing to him, and has the audacity to propose that they continue to do it.
Oh yeah, and I think they've laid out a pretty good case that she's not going to be the best ruler in the world.
No.
Yeah.
we just had the scene with her and the Corliss's son, and I think she was like, "Oh, sweet, I can have everything I want and be queen. Like this is going to be great." And then like tells the plan to a boy toy, and he's like, "Wow, you've completely degraded me." And she's like, "Yeah, but that's fine. That's okay." Because she doesn't care about the vows for the King's Guard. Of course, she doesn't. Doesn't care.
Yeah,
whatever.
She thinks she can do whatever she wants. She doesn't care about other people's opinions. And they had this conversation. Daemon tried to tell her, you cannot just decide that you're going to do what you want to do without regard for what anyone else thinks. These people who you want to rule, their opinions matter. Their perception of you matters.
And I really felt it was indicative of a character when she so brazenly tries to sleep with him, because it's like, that's going to kill him if anyone finds out. You know that, right? Like and she does know that. So it's just.
I just thought of something. When we get to the wedding, I was like, why was Corlys Valerian just not going in there? Like, because he's a warrior. Like that guy would go into the fight and stuff. But Night of Kisses, I think they probably will be like, oh, it's a good thing he's gone when we get to there.
I doubt they regret that. Yeah,
I doubt they regret any of it. And just saw that. Sorry. So
they can still use it.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of using, we get to this scene where you can interpret it as, I think it's pretty much just a knight who's lost everything, and he's young and he's dumb and he spilled a little bit too much.
But also, like, this scene is structured. It's one of those scenes where two people are having two different conversations. Where Allison, she's asking about someone else, and the context of everything she says, it actually is natural. It isn't artificially forced in the way, because she wants to be delicate. She doesn't want to spill it out. So just her way of speaking, she wants to try and not be direct, but as a result, that's the very thing that causes the confusion, to make him misinterpret that. Oh, from his mind, he thinks she knows everything. Already.
We can, because I think, Gary, we talked about this immediately when the scene was done. I was like, I know what a criticism of the scene would be. It's like, how convenient that she didn't bring up the specific details to allow him to pull this out. And it's like, think about it, though. She's the queen, and she's alleging something incredibly damning about two people, being Daemon and Rhaenyra. How are you going to do this if you're Alicent? It's like, well, you need to get the answers while giving away as little as possible. Give away
just got
anything.
Right? So her father just got fired for doing like basically the same thing.
Exactly. She's someone in chat just said she was clearly fishing and struck gold. I don't think she considers this gold. This is.
I don't think she was fishing necessarily. I think she was just trying to structure her words very carefully, and he interrupted her.
She wants to confirm what information she was given by the other strong, right? That's the idea here. And who would know better than her personal king?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like, from her perspective, what is the person who had closest contact with Rhaenyra at that point to have any insight to confirm her suspicions? It's going to be him, of course. And so this isn't like an accidental, so convenient contrivance that she picks this guy. No, it's the most logical choice to go.
And again, Alicent cleverly is like, hey, if you were to, from her POV, she doesn't say this explicitly, but it's in the subtext, right? If you give up the person who Rhaenyra slept with, whether it's Daemon or anyone else, it's fine. You know, they'll have the mercy of the. We're just looking to. People make mistakes, you know. But the thing is, she's so vague. He thinks she's talking about him.
Right.
It's damn well put together. Because
it really is. And it's set up because the show has demonstrated this is how people talk when they want to address delicate, sensitive matters. Like there was a previous scene when, Princess was talking to the gay guy. They didn't even say gay. It's like, oh, you there are some people who prefer this type of food versus that other type. And so they use subtext to talk about delicate matters. It's the natural political thing. And just like you were saying, MauLer, about giving away as little as possible to get the information you want, that's exactly what she's doing. She's trying to be delicate, political, diplomatic as possible, and it sets up the natural progression of this scene in a very justified way. To me,
no, she's got no allies. She's playing it smart. Plus, she's with the sworn shield of Rhaenyra, who, I mean, by every rights, could just keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, I know.
Could go to a Lord Commander, like, because I can't answer that question. I have to go to my Lord Commander. I have to go to my manager to see if I can answer that question.
But I think at this point he fears that she already knows, and his play is to try to not be tortured to death. So he's thinking about how do I end this well?
Death.
But also he's guilty. He's broken one of the most solemn vows of his life. The very thing that gave his life purpose. He was no one before. This, loyalty to the White Cloak is now his identity as a person. He's betrayed that. And that guilt would be playing on him massively. And then he was just basically told that he's a whore by the woman he loves, and he gave it up for. And so he gave up the most sacred thing in his life for nothing, for a woman that doesn't care about him. He'd be gut-wrenched. And so part of his feeling of remorse is like, give me an honest death. I deserve to die. I think from him, he thinks the Queen already knows. And so it's the admission is not a leap at all from the mindset that he's in.
And from what we see in a later scene, he may even be suicidal. So he just wants it to end quickly.
Yeah, everything's come crashing down. And now I think as well, in his head, he's like, I'm heading for execution. What can I do before then now? I have to act. I have to do something. And he's thrashing. He's making mistakes. He's just not old enough to know how to approach all this. And neither is Alicent, to be fair. When he tells her this, the camera hangs on it for a while. She's just like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I know. Because I love it, because it didn't enter her mind that Rhaenyra slept with,
no.
It's
think of what that opens up in her head. She's like, so first of all, I've got it confirmed she has lost her maidenhood to her personal Kingsguard, who he's going to be in someone with it. But the Daemon stuff, we don't even know. That might still have happened as well. It's just like, oh my God.
Exactly. All bets are off now. Rhaenyra, she could be a complete whore. And she lied to her face already. And especially with something like this. And so I also feel this is the deciding moment for Alicent where she decides she can't be queen. And especially that she's probably going to think that all of Rhaenyra's children are going to be illegitimate bastards as well.
The thing.
Yeah,
that's the biggest point.
The moon tea at the end of that episode. How much time has passed? Is it enough time to question that? Is the first kid's going to be Laenor's, or is it going to be Sir Criston Cole's, or which? Again, this is like something new that, as somebody read that story that I don't like very much, this is new. This is cool. And it makes sense because it's rumored to be maybe somebody else. But
and they're so certain. They're so certain that it's someone else's. This explains why.
Yep.
We just don't. You don't know for sure in the books.
You don't know for sure in the books, and this is where it gets kind of answered. So I guess we'll find out next episode. That was the last episode with the youngsters, and they did a good job. Like the Millie Alcock, and God, we should know the other one's name. That's terrible, but they did a really good job. They did. It was a slow start, but they really got into their characters, and it's gonna be different with two different older actors.
Yeah,
they released.
The most difficult time jump, and we've faced quite a few time jumps. They've done really well so far.
I think. Oh, dude, does that not solve all your problems of the Westeros Express time jumps?
Yes.
Just think of that. Why did you just keep having time jumps? Damn D, you dumbass.
Damn D. But yes, in summary, Sir Kristen Cole, he has relationships with nobody and sex with women. That's his.
Yep. I got news for you. You're screwed.
Yeah, he is screwed. And so, one of the other things I love about this to me is that, the deciding moment for Alicent, that she's like, no, Rhaenyra can't be the heir. It needs to be my children. And it's not selfish from her point of view. It's like, that's for the stability of the kingdom. Rhaenyra isn't worthy and she's betrayed everyone. She's lying. And so there's a reluctance, anger about it, but she's committed. She's like, this is what I got to do now.
I mean, her children are the only true born heirs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she knows now, especially what we learn later on. She knows that these children of Rhaenyra's will never actually be the true heirs.
She's
So
holding
her
a
hand is
nuke,
forced.
absolute nuke.
You're right.
She's got such a weapon now.
That is her second nuke. And she plays it really effing smart at the end. She just like dismisses him. She goes, after he like spills the entire beans, she's like, so there was a little thing I wanted to talk to you about. He's like, I did. I totally did. I totally had sex with her.
Poor guy, he's just trying to get a lesser sentence, you know?
And he's all, just, kill me fast.
One of the vibes I got from this episode is like, you begin to realize that Alicent, she is, her father's daughter. And so if she's going to be starting to play the politics,
it's her turn almost.
Yeah,
exactly.
Father can't guide her anymore. And I think she'll come to understand, even though he was a bit of a dick, there's a reason behind a lot of what he was doing, Otto.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even with royals, back in the Middle Ages, we liked our kids, but they were there to work and humanity. That's about it. Kids came and went. They died early. So things were different. Justin Johnson for $9.99 says Emma Darcy does look like an older Rhaenyra. We'll see, because she isn't as attractive as she was when she was younger. That is true.
She won't, yeah.
And my boy Ryan got in trouble. And I let him right into it. But the thing was, they specifically hired an actor, so you're going to be the frumpy version, okay? Yeah,
It's true.
Poor Ryan can't like anything and make a actual statement without being called out. But that's, I think it's just the tone of voice or just that look on his face. I'm not really sure. If she acts good enough, I'll be happy. I'm looking forward to Aemon One Eye so much. Oh, I am too. Oh. Aemon One Eye is the Daemon foil, right? It's like, it's the other Daemon except a little meaner. But yeah, he's got an eye patch and he's a Targaryen and he's a badass. So we'll see. I don't want to say too much. There's Aegon, the older Aegon, and then there's There's another one too. What was the other? Baelor? Ronald? Jim? Bob? Bill Targaryen? I don't know. I can't remember. There's a third one. And then there's Rhaenyra has some children's. And you saw him in the trailer, and you will find out that's.
Which one did you think that was in the trailer? Was that Luke?
I think so. The one that said Dracarys.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. He's kind of young.
He was the youngest one, but that might have been at a different time. But this is the problem with I Corlys Velaryon, the actor, is fine in the show. It's fine in the show, but with the little bit of a swap that they did, it's going to be a bit of a problem when it comes to Laenor, and then it comes to Corlys himself later on. That there's a question of heritage, shall we?
That was so frustrating about that stupid casting.
If they just explained it, which they can in this world, which I've said a million times.
How can they explain it?
They would have to say that the Valyrians went to the Summer Isles, did some trading, maybe a little more, and then came back. Then you can say sure. But to say that they're pure blood Valyrian when George until very recently said, no, they were very pale. They had silver and blonde hair and purple eyes.
But even then, I mean, his wife is not a pureblood Valyrian either.
No, she's
So
supposed to
that
have
was a dumb line.
She's Baratheon.
Yeah.
Baratheon. So she's supposed to have brown hair too. Yeah, it was a very odd choice when you could like do swaps with like any, like especially with a house down by the Dornish Marches.
Yeah.
You could certainly do it with a house like that. But you know, we know why. We know why they wanted to have a major character, a powerful character. Corlys is arguably the most powerful character throughout the story. He's rich. He's the richest one. Richer than the Lannisters. He's richer than the Hightowers right now. So I don't know.
And they get their black gay representation.
Yeah, man. I know that's Eric July's favorite. His favorite when they do that. It's Hollywood. It's Hollywood. That's why they do these things. Hollywood's getting roasted about a #1 movie this weekend anyway. So that's interesting. I'm just watching that one go down. Evil Villain for $20 out of 5 episodes. This is my least enjoyed. First 45 minutes great, but Christian murdering a man at the royal wedding in a brutal fashion was of no repercussions against him. Felt way off. Okay.
Do we want to wait until we get there to discuss?
Wait till we get there. Because I was okay with that because it would have been repeating something.
Yeah.
From an earlier episode. And these things did happen at weddings. They did.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So much is left to interpretation, and that's why let's save it for the discussion because I want to discuss with you guys what you think was the cause, reasons,
Evil Villain, hear us out. Stay evil though. Stay evil, baby. Claire 2011 iffy for $10. So why are they doing a massive time skip? The aftermath of this episode could take up the rest of the season. True, but that's a good. It's a good question. Maybe
they could have, but it seems to me they just want to give you all the gunpowder ready to explode onto they want to get them dragons fighting and everybody fighting, all the death and carnage. We want to get there.
Yeah.
They're aging up the kids. Yeah, for one, there is time where there is more time when Aegon and Aemon are younger, but it's more politicking. It's a lot more politicking, and I think MauLer's right. They just want to get them aged up a little bit and get going.
We're probably lucky we got this much, and it's been fun. I really appreciate all the time we spent with the series.
Oh yeah, I've loved the series, and honestly, I've loved the politics and machinations and stuff in the beautiful medieval fantasy setting. It's awesome, I love action, but if the drama is this well done, I could have an entire show that has no action and it's just like this. I'd be on board. I know that's not for everyone, and that some people might find it boring, but the politics so far has just really sucked me in.
It's a good balance between.
I agree.
I want some freaking action.
Well, look, one of my favorite moments was the battle scene. I'll say.
Yeah. And we'll get action. I don't know if we'll get it this season, but there's tons of it. Tons and tons and tons of it. Like there's more than there is in A Song of Ice and Fire. There's more battles, and it's not like huge pitch whatever battles. It's lots of 101 dragon battles, stuff like that. But it's got to mean something, right? It can't just be like the last battle. Like the battle was inconsequential. It was for Daemon. It was about building Daemon's character, and that's what I liked about it. Speaking of building character, this one is dying. He's clearly got some big problems.
Man,
did you spot the little thing of the maester getting up and he went like, ugh, and then someone tried to help him and he was like, get off me.
Yeah.
I'm curious what that's for. Do you think?
What do you think it's for, MauLer?
I don't know. Trying to imply like, do you need help? And then he's got his pride too, or is there something more to it than that? That he's in trouble, he's dying.
Well, no spoilers. No spoilers.
That's my speculation as far as I can go.
Trust your instinct on acute awareness of what you're watching.
Well, so we've talked about this before, but whenever you get a show that is making use of everything, even the tiniest move from any
I
character.
know.
I'm like, ooh, that means something.
Isn't that
important.
great? It's so refreshing. Like Rings of Power, you can cut so much pointless crap, and the show would be better because some of these scenes just make characters worse. But it contrasts to this, where even the most small, subtle little moments can have deep and important implications, and it's the setups. It's just the contrast is huge.
Man,
It
people
is
are very upset we like this, by the way. I've just told someone said Muller's abandoned his standards. It's like, no, I haven't. No. Don't be ridiculous. All we've been talking about is how things make sense. That's like my whole thing.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I like stuff. I do. There's a lot of stuff I've liked this year, actually.
We're
it's
an hour
been
and 40
surprising.
minutes. We're like more than halfway through the episode, I guess. But still, what are we doing right now other than trying to break it all down?
Right.
And I fully understand if people don't like it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the competence of how well this is done, I think is brilliant. All right. But I can understand if people feels it's a bit slow if they don't like the politics or other things.
Yeah. I was massive fans of the books. I've said this a million times. So like I've read them over and over again. So I'm really familiar with this world and character. If you are just walking into this, outside of Matt, Daemon Targaryen, it would be tough, especially the first couple episodes. But I think things pick up like at the end of this one. I still think this one started a teeny bit slow, but really picked up at the end.
The feast scene was packed with so much. Every single look of people looking at other people, and the subliminal kind of plotting that's going on, and the build up, and there's twists in it and everything. I freaking loved this feast scene. It was awesome.
All of the pieces coming together.
Yeah. That was engaging for me, almost as engaging as a full-on battle, because it was.
Yeah. No, when things are moving, I am fine. And like so much happened in this episode, twice as much as last episode, which I thought was fine. But like they put it into gear because, they're really revving up to the greens and the blacks.
Mm-hmm.
The Targaryen Civil War, we all know we're leading up to because they've told us a million times. So like, it's not like it's not going to happen. Okay. It's definitely going to happen. There's the knives will come out. They've been telling us over and over again.
Well, hey, there's a line in the show, right? It was in the previous one, I think, as well, that the destination or the end point is clear, but the path isn't, sort of thing.
Mm.
We know where we're going to end up, but how do we get there?
How do we get there? Not
There are
like
many
Game of Thrones
roads to
season
take.
8, I hope.
No.
So like King Viserys wants to know what his legacy will be. The Maester gets up. He's looking frail. Okay, we'll just say that, frail. He's prideful, of course. And then he bumps into his guy after, I don't know if they said what Viserys' ailment is, and I don't know if it's important. I'm just not going to say what it is. He's got an ailment. Something's really wrong with him. His arm is just,
his arm looked just like
like it needs
mutated.
to come off.
It was like it was a zombie. It was like, whoa, that is a growth.
No, and that's the thing. I could already. I genuinely, because like I think the show would have done it, but I was like, why isn't his arm amputated? It's like probably because he doesn't want to lose the arm. I could imagine. It could be that simple, that like it's this huge growth, and instead of trying to stop whatever's happening to him, I think he's accepted now he's going to die.
He's also trying to hide it, I think. I mean, just like he does with the gloves showing, covering up his hands, the loss of his fingers. If he lost an arm, that would be much more difficult to keep a secret.
Oh, sure. It's just that when you cut off the fingers, he's hoping to stem the disease, right? But like if you just let it grow up your arm, I think he's basically like slow it down, but I'm losing this one. It seems that he's probably at the point.
well, that's why he's thinking about like his legacy.
Exactly.
And to the kind of theory that the Maesters might be having a hand in it and everything, I did notice the part where he says, I have these herbal remedies that work. It's like, no, we shall stick with the leeches. And like leeches is not a good way to treat anything. Or a few things. There's some things that leeches might help with. But it was a very specific thing that the Maester decided to stick with something.
And that shows you how the Maesters are. There's old traditional ones. There's new ones. There's guys who get into the actual mysteries. That's pretty normal. That's very normal.
Well, Well,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause he says like he's always been partial to the leeches, and it's just like, yeah, but it's not working, is it?
Not working. The bad humors. That's a callback to the first episode when the Grand Maester talks to Otto Hightower, and like the first 5 minutes, he's all the bad humor, whatever he said. I might be saying it wrong. I'm paraphrasing. The bad humors are going to affect his judgment. So basically, we're going to need you now more than ever, Otto Hightower, who's not there anymore, who knows that the king is dying, and says it this episode. So we get to the wedding. We're finally at the wedding.
Yeah.
Well, this is just the welcoming feast.
I was going to
and
say,
preparation.
this is day 1 of 8, so in total, I guess, because 7 days of
7 days of jousting and tournament and feasting, which doesn't exactly go to plan. But,
No.
But don't you like how that they like? This is the one thing I liked what George did. He would set up a certain amount of events. You knew something was going to go wrong, but it would like be not the thing you're expecting, but still something would be accomplished out of it. It wasn't just we're here to subvert expectations and make Luke Skywalker drink milk out of a boobie to piss you off. It's
what an excellent choice they made when they did that.
It was so great. Right?
Brilliant.
So we see the Lannister, Jason Lannister comes in and gives us a first hint that the realm is not going to accept a woman as a queen. When he said, "This is why women don't go into battle. They'd always do."
And look, I was like, it's one of those kind of classic kind of women like jokes, and women have jokes like that, like men jokes and stuff like that. It's like I haven't seen a joke like that in media for a while, but of course they play it like, oh, he's such an awful misogynist, but it was just a playful joke where he's just ribbing a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you could also interpret it as him just being upset that she didn't choose him, like a lover.
He got a rim shot while we were watching it. I did it because he earned it. I thought that was funny. And he was talking about Allison, who's not at the table. She's getting ready. So they made a point to say, well, she's getting ready in her special garb. It's a special color that they tell us twice.
Yeah, I really like, because we can talk about it now. Why not? Like, it's only a small jump. It's just that when she turns up, she's agreed. And it's like, now if we just had that alone, it'd be like, that's something. Because I think then Gary could have been like, oh, I don't know if you know this actually, but green for the High Towers is actually representative of blah, blah, blah. And be like, oh, that's a cool little insight that you can get if you know the books or whatever. But a step further could have been a character going, wait, she's wearing green, and then another character goes, oh, and that's it. And we can be like, oh, so there's significance to this green. I might go look it up, and then you can find the answer. But having someone like go, she's wearing green. Green is the symbol in their house for like fighting and stuff. Like,
all right. I'm going to defend this one because there are moments when it's important to let the audience know certain information. And so then as the writer, you need to find a way to insert it in a way that's not so clunky. And Rings of Power fails at it all the time, where they, one, tell you stuff that's redundant, you don't need to know. And then they also tell you stuff that everyone in the scene would know already. But they kind of justify it because there's this guy who likes, machinations. He likes subliminal kind of plots and digs and everything. And if you just have him have a Watson in the scene where he explains something to someone who doesn't know the context, then we get it as well. I think it's on the line, but it's important enough information because I had no idea. And so when he said that to him, I was like, oh, damn. And so I'm very glad that information was given to me as a viewer.
If it were delivered as you had a clearly younger member of a house look at their dad or something and be like, why is everybody so shocked or whatever? And he goes, greener war colors for the High Towers or something like that. Something like that. I feel like that would be delivered way better than that. It felt so clunky to me when they did it. I was just like, yeah, all right, I got it.
It could be done. It could be done better. I agree, but I feel this information was really good to let normies like me know the context.
But I think it was also so they can get hashtag the green wedding.
That's what they need a fucking color every time, I guess.
It's like the Green Lanterns now. Somebody on Twitter said, was George R. Martin left on the altar or something? He's married. He doesn't have any kids though. Been married for a long time, no kids.
Oh, his line has ended.
His line has ended. But I just checked. It's not like trending. Millie Alcock is trending, but not not the green wedding. So this is the green wedding, but it's actually the pre-wedding party. We're introducing everybody, and like what MauLer was talking about was they bring in the Valerians, right, with their wigs.
Terrible.
And then he starts a speech like, "Oh, we're gonna bring our houses together. We're gonna join House Targaryen," and then everything stops, and Alicent Hightower shows up, and like that was enough for me personally. Like I got it. She's wearing a green dress. She's looking pretty serious. She showed up late when she usually doesn't show up late, and it's to show us. I got it that she's serious now.
And everybody up until this point has become used to seeing her wearing what she'd been wearing before, almost the same dress every episode.
Yeah.
It seems like, so for her to now come back in full green, like just from the expressions of the people in the audience and from the king's expression, I think they conveyed what this was about.
She's made a very public statement in a way.
Yeah.
And I feel like just in a meta sense, she's gone from being a puppet to a player now.
Mm. So, like the green thing would have gone over my head. I was just like, she's wearing a new dress. So I'm like I said, I'm glad that they at least let me know.
Yeah, it's more of a thing next episode than this, but they wanted to like because the show has been focusing mostly on Rhaenyra. It's been contrasting Alicent, but she's been the dutiful wife and stuff, and now like I said, this is her being a player.
I'm starting to really like Alicent. Like there's a lot of layers to her, and she comes out really strong in this episode. She's moving up there and just being one of my favorite in the show so far. We'll see how it goes with the cast change now.
If it's possible to speculate, so you guys will know the answer to this, but just I just like the idea that she'll further and further slip into her father's role, even though she was very judgmental of it. Like it's just an interesting sort of thing because she's now become a sort of intelligence source, and knowledge is power in this universe. But she has quite the leverage right now, and she's not even sure how she's going to use it, but she's going to use it clearly.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely made her more sympathetic, at least to me. I never really liked Alicent in the story.
I didn't either.
So now I better understand where she's coming from with the information that she has, and she is on the right side of history.
Yeah, the Maester does not write her. Well, it doesn't write either of them very sympathetic, but it does feel like the Maester leans towards Rhaenyra a little bit in the books. A little bit. But it doesn't matter because you don't hear any dialogue or conversation. A couple here and there, but this is better. So then our boy Damon shows up, just walks in, does his Vince McMahon strut, big old fucking smile on his face, just like I think I was gonna miss this, and the king's just like, what the? He's like,
yeah, it's great.
I loved this moment, and seriously, when a show can achieve like an audible kind of almost cheer from me from just having a character appear in a scene. Seriously, I got to give the props to the setup, the characterization, the work, everything, because I'm getting that response because I know of the context, the build up and everything and what this means without needing to be told. Just him arriving, it was brilliantly done. And it just goes to show you how well done this show is if it can do this with just a character appearing, not even saying anything. He's just here. I love it.
And it's probably worth not skipping over because I just saw it there. There was a good moment when the Lannister is like, what a great match. And then she just goes, yep, he was the best guy. And then it's like, oh, Alicent isn't there. And he's like, oh, that's why men fight wars, because women are always late to things. And they both just look at him like, fuck off. He's like, okay, bye.
There he is. There's our boy.
It was so good because also when he came, it was just like, oh, pure chaos has arrived. Anything could happen now, and I'm all on board. I'm just waiting here, like, bring it on.
Well, just his presence creates it, right? So he doesn't have to like do anything, right? And that's what's great. And I love that that's a straight up Elric callback. If you know Elric and Chaos, it's a great story. You should read it. This is and George is a fan, so I'm sure this is just paying homage All the Targaryens are freaking Elric. Okay, it's all taken from Elric.
This is what you think of when you think of a Targaryen.
Yeah, just
That's
swaggering.
swagger. Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
see,
What's
even
up,
his
bro?
body language conveys character. It's great.
Pause, Gary. Pause. You're gonna get attacked by HBO.
I couldn't help it. Sorry.
No, yeah, it was great, and it was as Chad just put it, it's just like, oh god, what's gonna happen now? Like, who knows what'll happen now?
I should
And Viserys does what Viserys always does. He's just like, you know what? The best decision here is to just be like, it's fine. You're here. Sit down. Let's just get this done. Like,
Yeah.
no need for a scene, sort of thing.
We're good. We're
And
good.
already in this scene, there were so many just little moments that I like when the House Valerian or that like the king looks at the the betrothed son, and he is like, he's questioning because he specifically looks at them when the son is looking at his boyfriend basically, and people are learning so much just by who they're watching in this scene, and I friggin' loved it. It was great, especially Daemon. When Daemon sits down, he is like watching everyone, and he is learning so much.
Oh, it's playing completely into his hands. He's like, oh, she's marrying a gay guy. And look at his boyfriend is a little gossip. And boy, does he fuck up. Like,
oh God, it's all his fault.
So they, the word has gotten out that Kristen Cole had a little sex with Rhaenyra, at least to the Night of Kisses, which I'm guessing he probably learned from Laenor Strong or somebody like that. And he decides to tell Laenor Valerian, not Lionel Strong. Sorry, Lionel Strong, Laenor Valerian. And it was smart if he just left it right there. It was like, hey, now we have information, they have information, we're cool. But then then the moron goes over to Sir Kristen Cole and tells him everything. And like, holy shit, like just signs his own death warrant right there.
Yeah, right there.
Tells Kristen Cole that he basically knows everything and walks away. Shit might happen later. Daemon's watching all of this and as you said, catching it all. Viserys isn't catching all of this. Corlys isn't catching it. Like nobody's catching it, but he is. He's catching everything that's going on. And it just
Laenor isn't exactly being discreet.
No.
No.
Not at all. We get a little scene, but that's where she comes in. She comes in like super late. And then we get a little scene between Sir Royce and Daemon, the cousin of House Royce.
Late lady wife.
And he's like, I'm her cousin. We answer for our crimes in the Vale. And he's like, really? Well, we answer for slanders here in King's Landing. By the way, my inheritance, bro. We need to talk about that. So I'm going to fly out there on my dragon and we can discuss it later. And he just kind of goes, oh, shit.
I just love the literally who response he has.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Like he was again, somebody on Twitter.
David is just, he really could steal a scene. And his response is just so calculated at the same time, manipulative and it's brilliant as well. I loved that moment. And I was half wondering if they were going to draw swords and have a duel right then, and Daemon wouldn't hold back. He would just like kill the guy at the minute, but I could have gone so many ways, and that just built the suspense. And look, there's Daemon just watching. Look at him. He's just like seeing everything. And that interaction between Daemon and the cousin or someone of his deceased wife, that's what Viserys finally notices. He sees that, of course, because it's out in the open. And now Viserys, that confirms to him basically that, oh, Daemon did kill her. Like, crap.
Lionel Strong's reaction was interesting too. He's sitting there like, God, please don't fight right now.
Yep. But he's watching everything too. Remember, like that guy is shrewd. And remember what his boys do later. Okay. Yeah. So let me know if because I want to get right to the fight. All right. So the Night of Kisses goes up and blabs to Sir Kristen Cole. Then there's some more dancings and Daemon and oh my God, Laenor's little sister. What's her name? Lena. How could I forget that?
Was she the one who was going to marry the king originally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's her. Okay. Yeah.
And she's
'Cause that-
flirting with Damon. Like,
Yeah, that was interesting. And like that felt like Damon perhaps taunting their family a little bit, or also, showing the
I
king
think
what
he
am I
saw it
gonna
as another
do?
in.
he did, but I think he like meant to taunt her, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm into this shit. Let's do it."
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh,
You part Targaryen too?
Probably worth mentioning, by the way, because we did just say, like, why would the kissing night of kisses, whatever, why would he tell Kristen Cole anything? It's like, I think his whole idea was just that the four of us are aware of the four of us. We'll all take care of each other, right? Wink, wink.
That was my impression. That he actually thought he was building an alliance. Like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm letting you know I'm a boy toy. You're a boy toy. We'll protect our,
And he just didn't know that calling a King's Knight who just soiled his cloak, that like you have all the information on him. That's just not a smart move politically.
I mean, it also was like, we're the same. And Kristen Cole was like, no, we are not the same.
I think it's
was
fair
a
that he
complete and
wouldn't
utter
know that, though.
insult.
The fact, and a king's guard forsaking his vows, he must have assumed, like, oh, he must be okay with his role then. Like, he must be okay with being a boy toy. But obviously, we know better.
Yeah.
Kristen Cole hates this dynamic, absolutely. But it's not like that guy knew. If he did, maybe he would have approached it differently. I don't know.
Yep. Well,
he has regrets now, I'm sure.
Well,
wherever he is.
We don't know what started the fight. We didn't.
That's the other thing. That is the other thing, and we're
That's
going to need to get there because that is crucial to try and understand the justification of what happens to Kristen Cole or what doesn't, because he wasn't arrested, and so that raises a lot of discussion about what actually was the instigating moment. But we're not there yet because after Damon, flirts with the girl, he goes to dance with Rhaenyra.
Yep.
And then he's about to do something like almost insane. I loved the conversation. Of course, Damon wouldn't back down, but like when Rhaenyra says, "What are you gonna do if you want to marry me? You're gonna go kill everyone or something like that." I was like, "Holy crap! Is that where they're going?" Because he could do it.
He contemplated it. He thought about it.
But he might that's not something he would stop him. He'd give that a go if he felt like it. And I was like, "What are you saying?"
He's like, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. Well, yeah. So then
he goes to kiss her. He grabs her on the thing and you see Viserys watching. What the hell are you? Viserys is about to snap, but then the crowd moves and blocks his view, and it looks like Damon is going to kiss her, and then we hear the scream.
Yeah,
and
Well, Damon makes it clear that having a spouse isn't a problem. They can be removed from the equation.
They can't.
Yeah, they can be divorced.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, the horse accident, little horsey accident. I mean, total coincidence. I'm just bringing that up as an example, Rhaenyra. But yeah, then the fight breaks out, and we don't know who starts it, but there's a little coordination going on between the Strong brothers. So I didn't think of that until like halfway through. We're through this recap, and I'm gonna have to watch the scene again because I could have this completely wrong, but this looked like it was coordinated a little bit to me. And you think about it, like Corlys Velaryon would not cry a tear for the Night of Kisses at all. Not knowing that like even like him living probably would have been better, would have been a better case because Laenor would have been happy. He would have done his duty and the realm might have thrived, who knows. But whatever happened, whatever started it, a fight started. And all of a sudden, Kristen Cole in there is just pounding his freaking face in. And there's fights.
Yeah.
Well,
he's even like
gets thrown over.
He's making some desperate noises as well. I think they want us to make us feel like he's just at his wit's end. He's not taking all this well.
He snapped.
Cole. Yeah, definitely snapped. And the Lionel, when he sends his brother off, I just like the way it's done. It's this lumbering like guy who just plows through the crowd and gets Rhaenyra and comes back straight away. It's like
throws her over his shoulder.
Yeah. He's just mad meat to full
Damon.
truck.
I can't remember what Damon said to Harwin Strong before that, but he did say something to him.
There's some implications of some stuff that's going on here. It's not exactly clear, but I think we can grasp from that the Lionel wants to protect Rhaenyra.
Yes.
what does that mean? I suppose we'll find out. How it
We'll
all
find out. Yeah, because
comes
he
together.
picks her up like a
Mhm.
sack of oats and carries her out of there, while Kristen Cole makes meat of the Night of Kisses faces. So
Oh gosh, they give us a shot that even I was like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
I was like,
that face is gone.
it's goo. It was goo. And he dead, and he's bleeding all over the floor. People are freaking out. The lords are leaving. And
Sorry, that was funny when the Lords see the dead body and they're just like, we're leaving.
we out. Yeah, Beesbury's gone. Lord Beesbury and the High Tower, they both bolted like immediately. And I was thinking, like, wow, shit. This happened differently in the books. It happens in Attorney. Happens at Attorney.
Oh, this is weird. I'm rewatching the scene right now, and to try and if there's any indication what's causing it. And is it Christian Cole, right?
Yeah.
He is beating on some. Oh no, sorry, no. Okay, that's yeah. I thought he was beating on someone else, but no, he's clearly beating on the.
I'm gonna watch it in the home theater again, because if anybody in the chat knows, like, if you think what I know, Ballroom Blitz, right? Ballroom Blitz. I like, let me know. I have no idea what started this fight.
I don't think they wanted to show us.
No, I don't
It's
think.
clear that they didn't, and they want you to speculate. And there's so many ways you could interpret it. And you'll never know which one is right. But again, I feel that they want that clearly is intentional to get the people to discuss.
One important piece of information we have is that Kristen made it back to King's Landing unharmed. So clearly he wasn't punished for this in a way that we may have expected, in a way that he would have been condemned. So maybe there was a justification. Who knows what's going on here exactly?
Well, there's so many ways that you can interpret it. Like he could try and say that Knight of the Roses actually was about to do something to the princess because she was about to kiss Damon or something like that, and he felt he needed to step in. And he fought back. So he could have spun any number of things in the chaos. You can
say pull the knife, or whatever.
Rhaenyra getting pushed over would have been enough. The princess and the heir to the throne getting pushed over would have been enough for a knight to come in.
Of his honor, killing someone on behalf of the queen when he's her personal guard isn't going to get him in too much trouble if he can justify it vaguely.
See, that's where I'm going to suspect Damon on everything. That's just I would suspect.
You have to know good.
Because that's what if we were to say, let's pretend this was playing out, in a logical course of events, Damon does go to kiss the queen, right? Sorry, the princess. And then if, the Knight of the Roses sees this, he feels this is a good arrangement, good marriage, and that could ruin this wedding and everything if Damon comes to kiss the queen. So he could have tried to step in and stop it. And that could have been perceived as an act of aggression towards the queen, which then Kristen Cole goes in and takes that advantage and loses it when he tries to stop it and then kills it. And this is me just...
There's also just the aspect of he probably wanted him dead, just one less person who knows the secret,
Mm-hmm. And House Velaryon, I don't think would have been the ones to take offense to this either. Like you said, they wanted to get rid of him, so...
They can use it as leverage for something maybe at some point, but yeah, I don't think they're annoyed at this. I think they're fine with it. It's whatever.
They don't want Kristen to explain why he did it. Not give the honest truth about it.
But the thing is, if we're skipping as far as I believe we are for the next episode, we may not get any more on this. What happened in that brawl,
Yeah, I get the feeling it's almost like the show wants people to speculate about this event as much as the book is, the book is supposed to be an unreliable narrator and there's different accounts of what truly happened. And by showing the scene play out this way and not showing us exactly what caused the fight, it's going to cause the audience to speculate in a similar way. And that's why I think
I don't know this is not from the books, but I think what they'll do is they'll have other actions in the future that will in turn answer your question without telling you, right? So a character will do a thing that will remind you of this thing, and you go, "Oh, okay, that's what I suspect will happen." So Laenor misses his boyfriend. They go straight to the wedding. That's the way I interpret it. Like, there's no tourney. Everybody went home. They're like, "F this. We got to marry these two right now." Because the king is bleeding. By the way, the fight, the king is like bleeding, like there's blood coming out.
And there's still blood on the floor, so definitely. There's
Oh,
just
yeah,
a
you're right.
little
You're right. Because that last scene, which was great, by the way. Oh, whoops. Which is great. So they get married. They get married.
And they don't tell us why they're skipping to just do it straight away, but you can infer it's like things just went to crap. This is an important alliance. Just get it done now. The king is almost.
In terms of vibes, this is like the lowest vibe wedding ever. Everyone's just like, we know why we're all here. And to end it, by the way, which was maybe extra sad of the series falling over. I was just like,
he falls over not once, but then he falls over when he gets back to the castle earlier too.
Yeah. They've done an excellent job of slowly bringing him down across these episodes. They really have.
Then we're in front of that werewood again. She looks sad.
She does. You can say that.
Yeah, she's realizing the consequences of her actions for a change.
Intercutting scenes, and Sir Kristen Cole is in front of the werewood, and he's about to commit Harry Carey, and Alicent stops him. It doesn't really say anything. She just says, Sir Kristen Cole, and he stops. And
I think there's a chance that, obviously I can only speculate because I haven't read it, but I have a feeling maybe she's gonna try and convince him not to do this, and maybe he can become a bit more of a puppet for her. Potential, who knows?
I mean, she's her witness and the one who admitted to something very significant. So having him alive, if she wants to ever use that nuclear bomb she has, having the guy that admitted to the deed is probably going to be helpful for her in the future.
Yep.
Let's see if we can get that focused. It's so dark, sorry, but there's blood on the floor. It's just a crappy picture because of my internet connection. There's blood on the floor there, and then a rat comes and drinks the blood as they consummate. Not consummate, as they end the marriage. There's the night of kisses blood, and a little rat comes in and starts drinking the blood. End of the episode. That was
excellent visual to end on, especially after everything we've seen.
Perfect.
Yes.
Well, that's why I mean, it's not the best book, but it has the best title, Feast for Crows. That's my favorite title because that's what we all end up, that's what they all end up in the book. So that's it. Next week we get older actors. It looks like shit goes down like immediately, and it should. And we get some other new characters. We get some new Targaryens, including Aegon. He's going to be all grown up. That's going to be a possible heir to the throne, and his younger brother, Aemon One Eye, and you're going to find out why he's called Aemon One Eye, and it's pretty fucking cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
plenty to look for. Yeah, we are halfway through exactly now.
Yeah, and hey, I'm on board. If they've shown that they're competent and they're being very careful, and the only way it could go off the rails if different people were suddenly taking over for the next season and stuff. I'm confident that if it's this good after 4 episodes, it should go well for the rest of the season. I could be wrong, but I'm excited. I think I'm loving it.
Okay, out of the 5 episodes, what's your favorite, MauLer?
Oh. Can I skip my turn and wait for everyone else's logic?
Wow. What a cop out. Okay. That's fine. Shad?
So at first it would be a toss-up between 3 and 5 this episode. The thing is, though, there are some, out of all the praise we had for episode 3, there were some just odd things tactically in that battle scene. Why did the Crab King commit all his forces and there was no real good answer for that. And for that reason, I think this one is actually done more consistently. And I am still wondering about that there seems to be no repercussions to Kristen Cole apart from his own, the night guy, apart from his own guilt and everything like that. But I think it can be explained because they want to leave it ambiguous and let you come up with it. But it needs to be a good reason to justify it. But then they're relying on the audience to justify it. But I loved this episode, so this might be my favorite out of all of them at the moment.
Yeah. They're going to have to explain that at some point because the time jumps, there's a significant thing that happens that will require that explanation. That doesn't spoil anything, right?
I don't think so.
Not really.
I saw a surprising amount of people say 4 in chat. I thought people didn't like 4.
Really?
Or at least
I like 4.
Well, we liked it, but I thought a lot of people thought it was like the worst of the 5 so far.
No way.
I mean, I've liked all of them.
Episodes are probably,
But,
if you want to say worst, that's what I'd say. But go on.
Part of my issue, I was going to say, is just that like I was going to opt for 5 immediately, and I was like, is this just because of the fact that I'm going to like the newest one because it's built on all the other stuff and it's making use of all the other stuff, and so it's like, we're rolling in more and more payoffs now where we were rolling in more and more setup before. And so if I was to watch episode 1 again, I might be like, no, the episode 1 was fantastic. Look at all the foundation they've done. Meanwhile, like 5, I was just enjoying every scene so much. Everything everyone was saying, everything everyone was doing, and I was thinking about what was going to come next. So I think the answer is 5 for me, if I was to be honest. Who knows what it'll be in future, though?
I would have to say it's still 3. Because I'm a fantasy fan, and seeing a guy walk out of a cave with half of a body and a sword with in the background is like, oh fuck yeah, that's the kind of shit I like. Okay, damn it! But like, no, this was really good. This is a close second, man, and I like the last one too. And when I do my videos, I rewatch the whole series, and it does make the first 2 better. It absolutely does make the first 2 better. There's still like the pacing thing that's going to be tough, and that's just going to be tough for people who just aren't into it, and honestly, like, this show might be best for people who didn't watch Game of Thrones before.
I actually like, if you take it in isolation and watch it by itself, you probably enjoy it more.
You should do that.
I suspect there'll be some folks saying this about Andor. Like, there's no way I could care about Andor. I'll watch it in a.
Don't worry, I'll care for you. I'll let you know what's going on.
But I mean, like, definitely people have been burned by Star Wars and burned by we have all been burned by Star Wars and Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Game of Thrones was shitty because it was so good in the beginning, but Star Wars is a much deeper burn, like a much deeper burn, like a decades old burn to a relatively new show. Still, both of them suck, and it just depends on what your tastes are, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think, like, I can never go back to Star Wars. No way. No.
I keep wanting to. I don't know. Maybe it's naivete.
Apathy is totally kicked in. So Jayne, what's your favorite episode?
I'm torn between episode 3 and 4, and that's mainly because of the relationship between Daemon and his brother. I feel was really developed incredibly well in both those episodes. Like you, I liked Daemon's entire scene where it's pure fantasy, right? It's the strength of the character and his will and his determination. We're gonna win or we're gonna die. I love that. But episode 4 added that sort of a different emotional depth to it, and the brokenness of their relationship. And I also liked how Viserys sort of grew as a king, I felt like, in asserting himself in that episode too. So yeah, it would be between those 2, and I can't decide which of the 2.
That's good, because they're all good. They're all varying degrees of good. They have flaws, but it's improving. And by the way, the ratings are improving. This is now more pirated. Like, previous episodes are more pirated than current episodes of The Rings of Power. So it's hilarious.
That's just like Amazon. You get what you deserve, making that astounding piece of crap Rings of Power.
They should be embarrassed.
And
I'm sure they will be.
I just particularly love that it's come out at the same time, and it's just another very strong point of evidence. If it's good, we'll praise it, even if it had a horrible marketing campaign and lead up and everything like that. When a show comes out, we put aside our bias, judge it on its merits, and if it's good, I'll acknowledge it. You guys acknowledge it, and I love seeing House of Dragon eating Rings of Power's lunch. It's a good show, which is just well written, and it's showing what is so profoundly lacking in Rings of Power as a point of contrast. It's beautiful.
What if every one of our contemporaries, our friends, what have they said? We all win. If we get a good TV show, we all win. Fine, I'm wrong. Cool. Yeah. we still win because we get a good TV show.
Right.
I'm on record of the first episode saying I am biased against this show. I am aware of this. I kind of hate it for things that has nothing to do with this show. It's like, Yeah, so I like it. So I feel like the show's in it. I really think if Game of Thrones had never happened, if the books didn't exist or whatever, this was just a show that came out as fantasy, I would have I could very well have been calling this great already.
Yep.
I can't do that. We have to wait.
Straight up. And I'll repeat mine too. I am a book fan. I want the Winds of Winter.
Now,
Show, fuck the book that this show is based on. It's delayed the book that I want, but God, I gotta call it like I see it. It's pretty good.
it's like I want George to continue to be involved because I want it to continue to be good.
Yeah,
but he has work to do.
You know what? Forget Meow Wolf. Forget your Choo Choo Train. Forget the John Cockatoo Theater. Forget fucking wild cards and just write Winds of Winter and then pay attention to the show a little bit. And I think it'd be fun. Yeah.
It's funny because it's like those 5 episodes. Like, could you just release the next 5 now? You know, just now. Meanwhile, Rings of Power. It's like, do you have to release any more episodes? Is anyone forcing you? I don't think so.
I know it's painful to get through Rings of Power. It's a slog, and it's just so boring and poorly done, and the awful writing. Just my goodness. And this was a joy. There was moments where I just bursted with joy, going yeah and stuff. In watching this episode, the contrast is amazing.
Yeah, it takes me 2 days to get through one episode of Rings of Power.
Well, like after the 10th time you told Nori's going to go off the trail, it's like, yeah, I get it. I understand. It's like, I'm following along. I can really detect this show. You can trust me.
Inside Baseball, like I recorded my video, started Friday, little pieces on Friday, and then 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, and I was done at 10:30 a.m. at night because I kept stopping. I'm like, yeah. Ooh, Ryan just put up a video. I think I'll watch that. Finding other things to do, and it took forever.
I think I was telling, I can't remember if it was before or after the stream. I was trying to say to Shad because I try and write up notes to make sure we can have a through line when we do like the stream breakdowns and stuff. And there'll be a scene I'll watch. I'll be like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to write down. Like, this happened. ? Moving on. Like,
what I'm doing, what I've gotten drug into is I'm not even doing reviews of the show. I'm basically just doing videos on what they're doing wrong. Like, Muriel is wrong. This is what she should be.
Yep. That's
wrong.
Everything is wrong. This is what it should be.
Jayne, and you know this. I'm just for the it drives people to the original source material. Like the one good thing out of this, the huge white pill out of this is there's a lot of new people trying out Tolkien now, and that's great. If it took something like this, fine, and just go read it. Just buy the book secondhand. Don't buy it from Amazon.
I wonder, and I hope it could be that this could be a sign of a turning in this battle against horrible media and stuff like that, where the fans are just like, we're not having a bar, we're not watching it, you're not going to shame us into anything. It's absolute crap because it is crap. And Amazon seems to be copying it as a result. The ratings and reviews and how many people watching, like, you know, the actual truth about how many people are watching is, you know, very interesting.
If they had both of our families captured and gunpoint and they were like, you have to write reviews that are positive and you have to debate on behalf of Rings of Power, how difficult that would be. Like, I feel bad for the people who are desperately defending the show because there's so little you have to work with. People are like, oh, it's so great because like the way it looks. And
I saw a dragon fight an eagle. This is totally Tolkien. I was watching your Sitch and Adam discussion.
That was fun, yeah.
The guy saying like they nailed Tolkien because a dragon fought an eagle.
It was funny because it's a fell beast anyway. Like it's you know, to get nitpicky about like because he was like people can't say I'm not a Tolkien fan. I have the DVDs back there. It's like okay, like this feels a little bit defensive, but yeah, that's the thing. His praises section started and stopped at CGI and special effects like prosthetics and stuff. And
I'm not going to give them that. I'm not going to give them an inch on the CGI because if you put people in front of it, it looks like the back of a stage. It doesn't look good. I don't know what
there's plenty of wonky compositing. There always is now. It's really annoying.
You're right. Like Nathan pointed this out to me when we were reviewing it. Like at first I thought it was good, but he said, no, look at the practical part and look at the CG part. Do they look? And it's like, you're right. It's so easy to tell the practical set versus the CG set. It's like, and it's kind of woken me up a little bit. It's like, it's actually really obvious so much of it is CG, and good CG, you shouldn't be able to notice it so obviously. It's like, There's so much green screen work in this show.
That's terrible.
It is. And there's volume in by the way, there's volume in House of the Dragon. They use volume. But they also use like practical sets, go to actual locations, and it looks 1,000 times better. 1,000 times better. Even the coreless ship things, you could I mean, they're CG, of course, but that looked fucking cool. That looks so cool. I was like, oh shit, that's angle. Like your line and the water line's going a little bit up from the I'm like, oh fuck.
Man, we got multiple scenes of castles. We got cool looking fantasy, well done leather armor. Like, whoa, holy crap, this is a first for me. We got beautiful swords. There was a close up of Christian Cole's sword. He actually had it in a sword carriage, and he takes it out when he sits down. Small little details like that is just. You don't get that. This is actually a really well done medieval fantasy thing, and it's better done than Game of Thrones. The weapons, armor, the sets, and just the effects as well. Oh, gorgeous castle. And we saw it from multiple angles. This is a very pretty show, and I'm enjoying the visual spectacle more than Rings of Power by a long shot.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point it was like a thing to say about. Well, it always is for Rings of Power, but even earlier episodes of this show, I was like not sure about the pacing. But these days, when we boot it up, it's like hour and 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes go by, and it's like it's over. I'm like, no, what? No, what was this thing?
MauLer, how much information did we get again in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah.
In the first 5 minutes, it's like boom, 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 boom. We're like, what? This is like 3 episodes of Rings of Power,
In the first 5 minutes, yeah.
It's crazy. But like that's how things used to be. So Shad, things are changing. And it is a combination of things. I would love to say they are finally giving the fans what they want and they're listening to the fans. They're forced to because they're losing lots of fracking money. It's their own damn fault. And a lot of them are going to suffer for this. HBO has this huge hit. Warner Brothers is in massive trouble right now. They're $50 billion in debt. They might sell to Comcast or whatever in a couple of years. We don't know. Or it could just fracking fold and somebody will there's enough assets to where they'll be able to sell stuff. But $50 billion in debt is no fucking joke with anything. So who knows what'll happen? Who knows? So they're forced to change. They're absolutely forced to cancel crap. Although Gotham Knights got greenlit. I mean, I'm happy for Az and you, Jayne. How that thing gets greenlit and Batgirl. I mean, Batgirl was going to be an abomination. I still think it kind of should have come out, but the fact that it got canceled, I still think it's good. I think it's a good thing. Sorry to the actors. Sorry to the directors. Sorry. It got canceled because it was woke crap, and we need that. We need more of this. So we support House of the Dragon. We support, Cobra Kai, which I haven't had a chance to see yet. Everybody's screaming about Edge Runners. I'm gonna watch that.
Oh, yeah, I really want to watch Edge Runner. It's on my list, high priority.
We've had good things, and that is that sign of change. We've had Terminal List. We've had Reacher. Northman. Freaking awesome. Nobody saw it, but you need to watch that. That thing is.
I need to watch that one. Yeah, I need to do that.
Severance is another good one.
That's a one I have not seen it, but people like it.
Very good.
There's Bullet Train. It was just a fun movie. It was a normal fun movie, like the Bullet Train. So there's things that we're getting more good because the last 2 years, I couldn't even do a top 5. I'm like, I can't do a top 5 of anything. Even if I combine TV shows with movies, I can't do a top 5. I could do a bottom 20, bottom 30. So we're gonna read some soups. Okay, is everybody okay for now?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. And we had a good crowd tonight. Thank you, by the way. The crowd is starting to eclipse the Rings of Power crowd, which great. I think that is fantastic. I mean, nothing against the Rings of Power. We're all just bashing the shit out of it. So.
Yeah, that's such a great roast session.
But if we see the numbers, I love seeing the numbers go up for for a good show. That's the whole point of this. Psy Media for $5. Millie Alcock Rhaenyra was born April 11, 2000. Oh, I hate that. 22 years old. Odin is wrong about she being a minor during the filming. He was talking about the actress playing Alicent, but he wasn't. They're not minors. That would be against the law.
Yeah.
You can't have a minor in a like gratuitous sex scene without like it being CG or body doubles or something else. But the actor playing Alicent was mighty young and really close, but she was of age. Okay.
Do you guys hear the comment from Millie Alcock about the filming of that scene? She said that she said like when they arrived, they hadn't been. It was a first time walkthrough for both her and Matt Damon Targaryen. They were both,
I think I have heard it.
They both. So they hadn't seen any of that beforehand. So their reactions, the idea was to get as genuine a reaction out of her as possible, sort of thing. But simultaneously, she said that like they had to do several takes, and that she said it was like people who hadn't even met each other before had to like 69 for 12 hours just for recording, which. Yeah,
there's a thing called the porn industry. So, no,
these are actors in a high class television.
You ever see Love Actually? Okay, the Fluffers, they fell in love afterwards. Yeah, it's a good movie. I like it, by the way. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. Makes me a big softie.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Love Actually.
Yeah. Because I thought you were talking about that. Yeah. That's a nice wholesome story. The two porn actors fall in love.
Yeah, they fall in love. It's nice. The showrunner for the canceled Amazon Conan show wrote House of the Dragon. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. The Grizzly for $5. Yes, Midnight Jeds did a very good video on that, pointing that out. And I completely forgot. I was so excited about that Conan show coming to Amazon. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get a good Conan. And the guy everything he was saying was right. We're going to just honor Robert E. Howard. This is going to be straight up, savage sort of Conan. And then Jennifer Salk comes in after the previous guy got Me Too'd and cancels it for being too toxic and masculine.
Did you say her surname was Salk?
Salk. Jennifer. Yeah. And by the way, she looks a lot like Morfydd Clark. I have a tweet on it. Like he looks a lot like an older version of Morfydd Clark and Galadriel.
What just so interesting, like Amazon, if they wanted their own Game of Thrones, Conan is the property that could have brought it to you. Like if you wanted crazy violence, action, and then like they could even throw boobs in because it's Conan. I holy crap! If that would have delivered.
Yeah, like it's all over. It's got everything. It's got everything.
And then they thought they could Game of Thronesify Lord of the Rings, which they haven't done. They've made something far, far worse.
Robert E. Howard built his world, while Tolkien published it. But Tolkien was still building the secondary world, but Robert E. Howard was doing it first. And poor guy killed himself at 30. I'm going to go see his house next weekend. I'm going to drive up to his house, little Robert E. Howard Museum, pretty close to here. And Elric, if they adapted Elric, if in another timeline where there was good filmmakers, they could adapt Elric, they would destroy it now. But
the problem is that they still have this modern feminist-minded individuals in power who are making the decisions on what to accept, what not to, and how to present it. So we're never going to actually get that as long as they're in charge.
I feel bad for the Wheel of Time fans. I don't know anything about source material, but I heard they
Gary
the characters and amped it up. They amped up the intersectionalism till 30.
It's a stab through the heart every time you mention that Wheel of Time show. The heart, mate. It's like the level of insult that they did to Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan, the source material, just enrages me. Like they denied some of the most fundamental elements of the world building because it was too problematic. Like the very structure of Wheel of Time is it has a gendered magic system where the male side of the magic is different to the female side of the magic. They didn't even mention that in season 1. That there were two
and that's a good idea. I like that idea.
It's fundamental to so much of the story, and the guy who's prophesied to save yet break the world, the Dragon Reborn, is called, he's going to be a man in the books, and men who use the male side of the power go crazy because it's cursed. It's fundamental to the structure of the story of how terrible this dragon prophecy guy is going to save the world because he's probably going to destroy it because it's going to go crazy. In this show, they made it could be a man or a woman. They bastardized so much, and they ruined You're getting me ranting. You did this, Gary. You brought up Wheel of Time because they all these legendary male characters. There's 3 protagonist male characters in Wheel of Time. They made them all into the most simpering, pathetic, weak, useless characters. It is
Wow. Celebrimbor, Gil-galad, Elrond. That sounds familiar.
They cannot allow the male characters to have any inch of integrity in any of these shows. It doesn't matter if it has a feminist narrative. It's not good enough unless the men are also utterly destroyed in the process.
Yep. Instead of having
Eye of the World, Wheel of Time, first volume, leather-bound. I friggin' love Wheel of Time.
All right, I'm trying it. It's going to be your fault. This better work.
Dude. So if you like slow burn fantasy, which just solid characterization and world building, because Wheel of Time is big, but what I love about it just Robert Jordan paints such a living, vibrant world. It feels so real because he takes the time, but it's engrossing if you love that kind of thing.
George R. Martin.
Dude.
And I like the last 2 books. I like Dance with Dragons a lot.
You're in, anyone who starts Wheel of Time, I'm like, you're in for a ride. There is a small slump at the middle of the series, but get through that and it ends with a bang. But book 4 is my favorite, so don't think it goes slow. There's a lot of books in it, and it's so good, dude.
Paul Anderson. Go on.
I was going to say, because if anyone else wants a cool book to try out, you can get leather-bound version of my novel, Shadow of the Conqueror. Sorry, I'm just holding up as an example of a leather-bound because I love leather-bound. But my own book is available in leather-bound. It's the 2nd edition, as well as the graphic novel adaptation, guys, because we want to make good stories, good media, and so sometimes you can do it yourself as well to add some of that back in. And I love comic books. I friggin' love comic books. Now I've got so many here. And it's a dream come true to be making my own now, and I want to push and make more. If this was successful, so everyone's support would be brilliant. If you're not in a position to grab your own copy, they could share it. That'll be great because I'm going to be doing more. I'm going to be. By the way, I need to start looking for good writers, and I'm going to be putting out some requests to send me samples because I'm going to be getting people to write some graphic novel stuff. But that'll be a bit later. That's going down.
You will not have a problem. There's tons of talent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want some, and you would need to have some experience. So I don't want to hire people that haven't really tested their writing chops yet. That's just, and if that puts you a bit out, feel you're left out, write something, put yourself to the test, get stuff out there, get your experience, and then you're in a position where I'd start considering to hire you. Yeah, make stuff. And so, guys, you will love it. Like I said, the graphic novel and the 2nd edition version of the novel are available. It's on Indiegogo. I will post the link in the chat if anyone is interested.
Hell yeah. Do we have any mods up this late? I don't know.
I don't know.
Eric is probably way on it. Eric is hi Kaylee. How's it going? Just I want to brag about my son real quick. My youngest mom unplugged the computer, which was such a good idea, and he's been burning through graphic novels, and I checked out his art today and it leveled up really legit good. I'm like, oh, damn, he's getting good. I'm so proud of him. So
does he want to be like a comic book artist, or is it because he does it because he loves it?
Yeah, he grew up in a comic store. So my oldest son didn't take because it was a lot of work for him. So he always saw long boxes, carrying around long boxes. So he's like, comics, I'm a gamer. But the younger one, absolutely, from being a little baby, he was a little baby in there, had Spider-Man costumes on, just immersed himself in it. So he absolutely loves it. Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if I ever told you, Gary, I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was young. I got crazy into drawing. My brother is Jazza, if you know the YouTube channel, Draw with Jazza. Now Jazza is a great artist. So it took me a while to discover that it wasn't the drawing I enjoy, it was creating the stories, and I would just pick the stories through drawing them and everything. But for a while there, I wanted to be a comic book artist.
It's still good to illustrate. I
still love drawing. I still love concept.
I do too. So.
I even have concept work for the other graphic novels that I want to produce, because now I'm gonna I have all this work of characters that I've done. That I want to make them do some
good. Make stuff. We need more good stuff because there isn't enough. I can't wait for your books too. Especially thanks for offering leatherbound. Leatherbound is just sexy. It's just sexy.
I love it.
Okay, we got to get back to the.
Yeah.
Okay, so Paul Anderson for $2 says they should have used oysters. Call back to Spartacus. What's that in reference to? Oh, is that the show or the movie? The show is freaking awesome. The Spartacus show, ooh, so good. Actor died in the first season.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
two actors, and they still did a good job. The first actor was great. He died of Hodgkin's. Very sad. But it's produced by Raimi, same guy, the same people who produced Xena. Very well done show. It's tons of boobs, lots of violence. It's done in a 300 style, so like kind of a Zack Snyder style, but with Sam Raimi. It's really, if you haven't seen Spartacus, it's fucking awesome.
Good story.
Good story. Like hooks you in the first 10 minutes. You're just what? Hurt Chain for $5 says, I have a family member who works on the costumes for the House of the Dragons. Makes me proud the show is doing well. Well, hey, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, seriously, props. Like one of the things my wife commented on was just how awesome the dresses are.
Yes. Everything is so detailed. It's beautiful. The embroidery is just amazing.
And I don't think people understand how much of a compliment it is for me to say that they did good leather armor in this, because I've never seen good leather armor depicted in anything. I think, and this one actually had some decent looking stuff.
By the way, if I missed your House of the Dragon super chat last week, the Square Up is on Nerdrotic Live. It's available now, so you can see it, and there'll be one next week too. But we're good right now. So let's get to Abstract Jewel for $4.99. It says it all comes down to the cast swap. I love Millie Alcox Rhaenyra. It's her character now. Next episode is huge. It is.
Yeah.
The whole series relies on it, and I think they know that. They released. I couldn't find it, but a couple of channels covered it. They released like a season 6 trailer, where they gave us some footage of what's to come. And they showed one eye, and yeah.
I assume you meant episode 6.
Episode 6, sorry. Did I say season?
We're up to season 6 already.
Wow.
Wow.
I meant to say episode 6. Nathuse for $5 Australian. Hey, an Aussie. First super chat ever to anyone. Wow. Well, I am honored.
All right. Gary, can you give us a good g'day, mate?
G'day, mate.
G'day. Oh, that was well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Done that before.
I will be gentle as always, since it's your first. Love your work, guys, and it's so refreshing to look forward to a show weekly again, right?
Yeah.
Hot D is firing up nicely. It is. Captain Keach for $4.99. The armor in Rings of Power looks like it was bought off Amazon.
I literally just like a few days ago did a review of the weapons and armor in Rings of Power, and that like tin foil cardboard painted crap. Yeah, it's awful.
It's literally, it looks like something I could make that I just don't understand.
Oh, is this your art, Chad?
Yeah. So that's one of the characters that I want to make into one of my future graphic novels, superhero one, and I got heaps of other ones. But I got my art on a DeviantArt page that I posted a while back, and so
that's great, dude. That's awesome. I love it.
I'm nowhere near as good as like any professional in the. Well, actually, Marvel professionals, but actual.
This is better than some of the Marvel crap I have seen in the last years for sure.
And I'm not that great, so that's
I like
a shocking
the style of that costume though. That's
well,
dope.
Yeah, this guy is based in like 1920, 1930. So that my superhero universe begins at the same time when superheroes are kind of invented in our own real world, and follows through the cultural kind of process and stuff, and going through even World War I and II and all that stuff. And there's lots of stories, Gary, that I'm excited to try and make, and this is just one of the many.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. So we are over here going to Objectively a Cat for $2. Jason Lannister plus 170 years. Apex Homo Tywin. How? I don't know.
The old EFAP meme.
You're gonna have to tell me about that one, man.
We covered a video where they tried to argue that Tywin, in his role in Game of Thrones, he was clearly homosexual, and it was good. It was funny.
Oh, what was he? did he like the Mad King? Like who is he?
I think they just try to argue that he's just not seen with women very often, and that I can't. It could have been a troll too. It was like
It had to be because
But he loved his
hey, we
wife.
say that about everyone we cover.
right, yeah. Like he that's what made him like he was a cold dude anyway, but like his wife like leveled him out when she was gone.
I just want to remind you, we covered someone who said they thought it was out of character for Gimli to want to kill Sam and Frodo, and he was not trolling. So, keep your mind open.
That's true.
Shad, if you haven't seen that episode, you'd love it.
I think I might have seen past, but oh wow.
EFAP 93, that's the one.
93.
We cover some of the worst criticisms of Lord of the Rings people ever hear in your entire life. But
So-
it was fun.
Viserys' first wife, Emma Arryn, was the daughter of Daela Targaryen and granddaughter of Jaehaerys I and Alysanne Targaryen. Some family ties there. You are correct, Earl Starbuck. So yeah, there's definitely family ties to Arryn still. I mean, technically, but they're loose at this point. I mean, they were directed. They were tied by marriage at first, which must be a bummer for that house. It must be like the Veil of Arryn does come up later after the time jump. We'll just say that. You will see the Veil of Arryn. You will see the High Tower. You will see Storm's End again. You will see Winterfell. They do not go to the Wall, but I bet you they're going to change that. I promise you they're going to change. I think they'll go. Yeah. What if they're going to go up north? Because you know what? I can't tell you why they go up north, but they go up north. Somebody goes up north. Why not? Like, at that point, you're almost there.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't make a lick of sense unless they change something, but.
Is the Night's Watch in better condition at this point in history?
It's hard to say. That he doesn't talk about it much. I'd have to read A World of Ice and Fire. A little bit, probably a little bit. It degrades over time. So I think a lot of the castles are still manned at this point. So there is much more people. And that can play in that. I'm really starting to think the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy was not made up for this show. I know it sounds like total fan service, but it does answer a lot of questions about that are still open about the book. So it's possible. Or it could just be total fucking fan service. I don't know. E-Buster says, you guys don't have to watch your language because of Jayne. She has been has. Oh, I'm trying to watch my language more on the channel anyway. All right. But I'm trying to watch it. It's not Jayne, it's Shad.
It's me. I'm the sensitive one. Oh, he said the naughty word.
Yes, it's Shad who I'm trying to like. Man, the Jayne, I know she streams with Az. She's Shad all the time for Friday Night Tights. Come on.
Yeah.
Potty mouth. Terrible.
I'm not clutching any pearls. It's fine.
She's cool. Sir Kristen Cole tried to perform seppuku. He must have been from the ancient far-off Westeros house samurai. I know, right? Eric Kennedy for $10, or maybe just that's people like, yeah, I wouldn't want to go that way. That's a painful way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I would just jump off a cliff or something. There's lots of cliffs to jump off. Mark Clark for $5. Hot House of the Dragon is woke too. There's just more subtle about how it's introduced slowly, where Rings of Power shoves it down your throat in first episode. I mean, there's no secret that there's the themes there, but we're in a patriarchal society. Women are not going to be accepted on the throne. That's pretty much what history was too. But it's how they present the characters. And Rhaenyra and Alicent aren't Mary Sue's. They're a very flawed character. Rhaenyra is dumb. She's freaking dumb. You like her, but she's a moron.
Yeah, and also they depict her as being selfish and things. And there are male characters that they actually make very sympathetic. Like look at like poor Kristen Cole in this episode and everything. They essentially depict him. He's a victim of abuse in this by Rhaenyra, and the king is just done so well. A loving father, a man's trying to do his best, suffering, and so. If there is woke elements, there's balance, and they show the other side in that it's particularly anti-woke almost in some of the ways that they show men and also shows the women at sometimes.
Well,
And that's my measure of whether it's woke or not is, are they being fair and true to the characters as human beings, or are they presenting them and framing them from that sort of biased perspective? Are they giving men their own agency? Are they giving them their own independence? Are they allowed to make mistakes if they're a woman and allowed to actually have to suffer the consequences of those actions? If you have that, then you have a complete story.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for.
if it was woke, the Night of Kisses wouldn't have died.
Oh yeah.
Introduce a gay character and just bash his face in. I mean,
See, people say, by the way, that the king is like a weak and fool and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I feel like we've gotten all the information we need to know to understand why the characters see him that way in the world, but that he himself has done as best he bloody can for anybody in his situation. Seriously difficult decisions and really misty on whether or not one way or the other way is the correct one. I think the biggest misstep he took was marrying for love, right? But it was quote unquote love. He didn't realize what he was getting into.
All right.
There are multiple times when Viserys just lays down the law, like when Daemon comes to her, like and he just that scene when he finds out about how Daemon insulted his deceased wife and child. He laid down the law. Then he did it with Otto. He did it with Daemon again and gave him a good solid boot and everything. And so I can see how he can be perceived as weak, and he's just trying to do the best he can. But when he's determined and he sets his course, he goes straight for it and doesn't take too much argument on it either. Like,
if this was intersectional, the bronze bitch would have got off her freaking horse and shit out of Daemon and accidentally killed herself, or something like that.
Yes, you're absolutely, because look what that's kind of She-Hulk, right? Where Banner saved her, and they did it so not only does she not get saved, she saved him, and in the process got the blood on her. Whereas
and then trained herself because he can't teach anything.
Texas Taco for $5 says Shadowfax crushed her.
Yep.
Shadowfax. Good boy. Wolfsbane for $5. Well, it's implied that the Hound was a warg with his horse. Why wouldn't Matt Damon Targaryen have a similar ability to manipulate animals? Was the Hound a warg with Stranger? The Hound. His horse, Stranger.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, but maybe dude, there's so many things there's still theories I don't know.
Yeah, there are a ton.
The Hound is alive. He's the grave digger. Trent Johnson, $4.99. It is bad that I thought he was gonna R-word her and show her that he can finish. Is it bad? No, that's.
It could have been in line with his character. Daemon could have done so many things if he wanted.
I can't give you the specific scene, but the R word most definitely happens later on, and we'll see if they're willing to do it.
Do you remember how much trouble they got in for the
they don't get more trouble for this. They so much more trouble with this. The Sansa stuff was.
I wasn't even gonna that one they got in trouble for, but I was actually saying the Cersei and Jaime on right next to Joffrey's corpse. That do you remember that? And it was unclear if it was the R word, as they say.
Yeah, that's weird because in the book it's totally consensual.
I think it was just an incredibly uncomfortable scene to watch, if you remember.
It's supposed to be the brother and sister coupling. It's supposed to all be uncomfortable
next to their dead kid.
Does that too.
I think I feel like they will want the shock factor. They seem to be leaning into the shock factor so far in the show, but we'll see how far they'll go.
We will.
Oh, dude, I don't think they will do.
Really?
Jayne, yeah, I can't even tell you two guys. I'll DM you on Twitter what it is. It happens much later, but I'll it's bad. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Also the most important fantasy question only true fantasy fans care about: two-legged got dragons over Game of Thrones dragons over four-legged D&D style dragons. Which is better? Oh, I've heard George's argument on that, but I'm gonna have to go with four-legged dragons because you end up using their wings as freaking arms anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, aren't you just talking about the difference between dragons and wyverns? Isn't that what people say?
they're both dragons. I mean, like
You're going to get people in chat very angry at you for saying
So
that.
this is the thing, right? In your own universe, you can
Okay,
define what a dragon is,
wyvern
can't you?
and there's dragons. We're talking about dragons right now. I'm not talking about wyverns. I'm talking about dragons and
They just have winged feet. They're still feet, right?
little feet. Yeah, George R. R. Martin and Lord of the Rings has big ass dragons, dude. Big. I like dragons. How's that?
Yeah,
I
why not
love
both?
dragons.
Why not both? I like, as long as you're consistent in your own world. I think you can change the dragon, stereotype up a bit to be a bit different. Like in the King Killer Chronicles, there's a dragon type creature that appears, which is very different to the fantasy type dragon, but it works really, really well. And it's the way Kavoth, he approaches it almost like a scientific way. It's like, look at this creature.
And even these dragons are different breeds, so we will see different kinds.
Yep.
You guys know that it's required by law for Welsh people to like dragons, but they've never had to enact that because everyone just likes dragons.
Everybody just likes them.
Yeah,
Like one of the most useless laws ever, but I'm glad it's on the books, to be honest.
yeah, we have to make sure. It's
We
just
have
to
to
make
make
sure. It's more of a when someone claims they're Welsh but doesn't like dragons, it's like you're not real.
What do you?
I mean, I will say that, of course, the stereotypical iconic dragon is one with 4 feet and wings on top of them. I mean, that was. I get that, and so if I was to say what is the stereotypical classic dragon archetype, I'll be like, but you can mix it up, have fun.
I mean, in my years and years with media, whenever I refer to a dragon that has the wings attached to the front 2 legs, people just start raging at me. That's a wyvern. It's not a dragon. It's like, oh shit. Okay.
Oh, look,
right,
according to D&D's strict, like
God.
definitions, but D&D does not rule fantasy. Okay, it's like,
I mean, to a degree, I think we talked about this like years ago, Shad. But if everyone started portraying vampires as these people who, when the moon is up, they turn into wolves and start running around killing people, if everyone portrayed it that way until everyone who knew vampires differently died out, and all the laws would change, it's like eventually that's what vampires would be, I suppose. Which, to be fair, you guys would have seen. There's plenty of interpretations of vampires that change all the different rules, mess around with them and stuff. There's nothing necessarily definitive when it's a fictional creature definitively, but
Except sparkling. That's lame.
No, I know. I'm not even
I like Twilight. I don't care.
Hey, Jayne, guess what? I'm like Jayne. I like Twilight too. Suck it to her, all right?
Oh my God, Gary!
Team
end the
Edward
stream,
all
end
the way.
stream.
People will be
Get
like,
us outta
Shad's cancelled now. I could say anything about feminism, woke stuff, but the Twilight thing that'll get me cancelled.
Oh my God. My voice is on that one, Shad. Oh, buddy.
You didn't have to say what you just said.
Inner
I'm just-
monologue.
All respect for me is what Gary's lost. All respect for me.
I sat through those movies and I was so grateful. I fell asleep in the last one. Have no idea what happened. My wife was kind enough not to wake me up, and somehow I managed not to snore, so it was good. That was my best
experience. Good experience.
But I watched them. I watched them.
I didn't watch all of them. People have asked if we should do EFAP movies, and I was like,
No.
I don't even think they're good enough for that. I don't know.
All right. Question though. Have you read the books?
No.
True
God.
The books are
Why would I have read the book?
I have.
They're not the best written books, but they're good.
No.
There's actually important things, like from a writing standpoint, there's important things to learn from the whole Twilight thing that I find really intriguing, particularly its success. Twilight is very informative about finding out what makes something successful and the whole well-written thing.
Doesn't need to be well written, and people will still buy it.
If you can latch on to certain things that people like,
hooks. Yes. Hot dog is better than rope. Jacob, I don't even know what that means, man. Maybe
Personally, I just prefer to eat a hot dog than a rope.
I would too.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Hot D is better than Rings of Power.
Oh, maybe that, but it says hot dog is better than rope. But you're right, Jayne. You code of our
Decoded
chat.
it, yeah.
Yep.
You know what? I stand by what I said allegorically. I can consume
I do
hot D.
too.
I cannot consume Rings of Power.
Way to go.
That's a great allegory.
Oh my god!
Is that actually? It's not actually allegory. Is that just
It's applicable. See, that Tolkien would be down with the applicability. Okay. I was not sure about Rhaenyra actress, but she is good. She is doing a good job. She is doing a very good job. Or
I'll
was.
miss her. I'll miss her and Allison. Hopefully, we like the new guys.
She's gonna get lots of roles off this. I just hope one of them is not Spider Gwen.
Are they switching out Kristen Cole, or is he staying?
No, he's staying.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's staying.
I'd be curious how they decide exactly. Because you could always go for aging them up or making them look younger at the beginning and removing
I don't know that for a fact. Chat, fact check me on that one. I don't know.
On what now, Kristen Cole or
On Kristen Cole. The thing is, Rhaenyra is only supposed to be after the time jump in her early 20s. She doesn't look like she looks like she. So they might be changing that a little bit. People should check out Gandalf impersonator ripping Rings of Power on YouTube named Chris. Oh, I've seen him, Chris Hopkinson.
I've seen those videos where they do some type of deep fake Gandalf thing and they get
I've
his
seen
voice.
some of them, yeah.
Like their voice is so close. It's just
very good. My father's Mexican with black hair and red beard. The mixed match hair is not really, that doesn't bother me, says Sentinel Rex. I just use it as an example. It's of the other things that don't match. Don't match. I'm just deciding to focus on the hair and the eyebrow color.
I haven't. I focused on it being too dark. Because even if you buy into this whole thing about them, mixing with people from Bravosi people or whatever islands, you still would not cast him this way.
No.
He doesn't look at all part Valyrian.
No, if you
were going to do it, you should have cast someone who's biracial at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly the only thing it's gonna. We'll see how they handle
it. The only reason they did it, I'm convinced, the only reason they did it is because they wanted his son for that representation that we've seen.
Yep.
That's it.
It's a common trait to make the black man gay. It is really, really, really overdone, like massively overdone, and it's for obvious reasons. We don't want to feel threatened. Hollywood's terrible. Hollywood's a terrible place, man. Hey Gary, I sent a super chat earlier. I will get it, Justin Johnson. Thank you. The hair looks like mop heads. It does, Christian Wolf. That's the thing. I think they drop it. That's just me. I think they drop it next season. Or get much better at it. Josh Kelsey. Also, to Robert's point, I think remember that Balerion. We have read that one. Bruh, I thought the cave was the Windows screensaver. Oh, that cave. See that? That looked pretty good. Corliss Valerian looks actually like Leroy Smith from Tekken 7. The Grizzly for $10. Watching this series makes me want to Horus Heresy series. Wants a Horus Heresy series so bad. I'd love to see 30K or 40K. Is there a 30K? I don't know what 30K is. Did you mean 40K? Series like this. Yeah, I think he means 40K. 30K. I don't know. Is that a pre? So much good potential for a good Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon story leafing up to Warhammer 40K. Yeah, he meant that. Grizzly, thanks, brother. Been here forever, man. Thanks, brother. Ryan McKenna for $5. How does anyone give this show a pass? I guess y'all, but just eat whatever falls at your feet. All style, no substance. I disagree, but you are entitled to your opinion. You are. The High Towers, who are Valerian, look the Hightowers who have Valyrian looks. Jaehaerys mistook Alicent as one of his daughters. There are even some Hightowers who have Targaryen names. Says Apocalypse. Okay, it's Apocalypse Sagan.
Yeah.
$5. Yeah, I guess they just wanted them to look Hightower.
That was the issue I had with it too, is that I had always attributed to their use of magic historically, that the same thing that sort of made the Valyrians look the way they did is why the Hightowers look that way. I never really attributed to them having Valyrian blood, but I guess it's possible.
It is possible. All right, we're going to read a couple more and I got to get out of here and we'll do the rest on the square up. I've got most of them. Here we go. We're going to start with Robert McDonald. I read that one. Fifth Down Sports for $10. Hail Jayne Theory. Oh, yeah. Hi, Gary, MauLer, and Chad.
Hello.
Hello.
How did these streaming shows pass all the checks and balances and get greenlit when they don't follow lore and spit in the face of the fans? Greed, ignorance, and activism. All three of those combined.
Yeah.
The ignorance falls of the ignorance of fandom and how fandom works, which is something I don't think Hollywood will ever figure out. I was watching Robert Meyer Burnett late last night talking about Star Trek and how Hollywood just doesn't understand Star Trek. They still think it's wacky. And no matter how much praise and love people will put on Rings of Power, they think fantasy is wacky. That's they don't take it seriously. That in name only. Oh, we're big, huge fans. No, you're not. It shows. It shows you're not. Love the channel. I don't know if it's been mentioned before, but how do all of you feel about show adopting a lot of Mushrooms accounts of the books? Jocelyn Campbell for $10. I would love to see Mushroom. I think it's a mistake to leave them out.
I like Mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have some of the stuff
That's the Jester, isn't it? Is that the Jester character I've heard
It's the
about?
Jester who is a dwarf. And I don't think he's going to be in it.
What?
I think they were afraid it would look like Tyrion, which is stupid. You could just get another actor and have him act completely different.
They were afraid he'd look like Tyrion.
Yeah, they like it was just another dwarf.
But they have the little person in the band.
They did.
I did see that.
Maybe he does show up. I heard he wasn't. I think he's important. I think he would. The thing is, he's another one of those guys who people just thought he was stupid. So they would say a bunch of shit in front of him, but he was incredibly smart. So there you go. And he was the only guy who can make King Viserys laugh regularly. I found it somewhat out of character for the knight to sell him and Rhaenyra out to the queen. He must have known how the game is played. Oh, we read this one earlier. So I just pure naivete and emotion and soiling his cloak and
guilt.
Yeah, I would say he doesn't know how the game is played. He's very, very naive. He's a really good warrior and he's risen up the ranks. He got his honor. He fell in love with someone and it's not quite what he thought. And everything's crumbling apart.
He beat Daemon. He beat Daemon twice.
He would have been on track to be like a Ned Stark type character had he actually like stood against the idea of having sexy time. He'd been like, nope, I've got my honor and I'm going to keep it. And he at that point, he would be the kind of character I wouldn't expect to play the game. He would be someone who just tries to approach everything fair and balanced and honorably. And then he'd probably die.
How is it, exactly? How is it just in terms of budget that this show looks and acts so much better than Rings of Power? Maybe it's personal opinion, but Rings of Power does not look like the $1 billion price tag compared to this show. Doesn't.
There really should be an investigation because at this point, it's not making any sense at all.
Rating it on a scale from 1 to Tempest inside of you. Oh, I would give it it's a very satisfying shit. I don't know what analogy to use. It's like I just ate 3 tacos and they were really good. No Tempests.
Well, we now know where the Rings of Power comes from.
There you go. Yeah, and we all like this episode. We definitely like the episode. we're in on the series. Are any of us ready to tell the spurned Game of Thrones fans, come on back?
No.
No, I'm not.
Not even I would be like.
No.
Nope.
See, I just say if you want a good show that you would consider in isolation, you can check it out. For me, I love it. I would like just for the episode so far. I think this is great. Could go off the rails, so take it one episode at a time.
Just being cautious about it.
I eat tacos 3 effing times a day. No, I don't. I would not. I am too old.
I would love tacos.
I have tacos on Tuesday and sometimes on Sunday. I ate Gino's today, which is this deli near my house. It's like the number 7 restaurant in all of Texas. It's fucking awesome. So if you go there, go to Gino's in San Antonio. Matt, action for 50 Canadian pesos. I got to make sure I don't like mispronounce his name and then cuss at the same time. You guys are literally the best thing that happens for me every Sunday night. Thanks for being awesome. Wow, that's nice. Also, my last name is pronounced fashion. Okay, now, but it's spelled like faction. I'm not talking to you, bitch.
Oh, is that attention seeker? Am I right?
My phone, wants a little attention later, baby. Okay, baby. I got a life going on right now. It's all right, baby. Matt C for $4.99. Love you, Gary, but wanted to give a shout out to Shad, who I recently stumbled upon. Love his epic nerd rage rants on Rings of Power. Don't ever change.
I won't, sir. Sorry, I cut you off. Hey, thank you.
No, dude, it's okay. We're gonna have to leave, so I'll get the rest on the square up. Of course, you can't finish Revenge of the Six. Yes, I'm finishing right now, and this is the last one. The Grizzly for $10 says the hours. Oh, I read this one already, so we can go. We can go. We're at 3 hours, a little over 3 hours. You guys have been very generous with your time. I know MauLer, it is super late, but these are fun.
They're great.
These are great.
Only 5 left.
And
then we'll never be able to speak to each other again.
Until
season 2.
Until season 2 and the real BBC and probably our New Year's Eve stream and our Christmas Eve stream. And
am I invited to the finale for Rings of Power on Friday Night Tights?
Yes.
Sweet.
Dude, I'll just send you links. You can shove whatever the hell you
want. That'll be one of them stacked episodes, I imagine, maybe.
That's like what is happening with me. I just get to rock up if I'm allowed. It's like,
well, I mean, Chrissy's on the road a lot this year, so she's going to be kind of in and out, and you guys can just have the slot, and it's all good.
That's your way of saying she doesn't want to talk about the nerdy fantasy show, isn't it?
Well, I'm making her watch it. I think she's still watching it, but yeah, she cute.
Women, am I right?
Girls, Jayne, who totally watches all of this stuff and reads comic books and freaking awesome.
More familiar than I am. That's fine.
We all
like dragons.
We all like dragons. They can have 6 legs. I don't give a shit. It's
Yeah,
dragons, dude.
You got the Japanese dragons, right? They're like snakes.
It's better than some sad people, sitting around a table being sad. That's what like freaking dramas are. I can't stand them. That's why I like fantasy. That's why I like science fiction or a drug deal gone bad. I'm good with all of them. MauLer,
hello.
Anything you'd like to plug?
Oh well, you know what? This might be the last time I do it on a stream. But the plushies they got extended by 1 week, but they are coming to an end officially now. They got 3 days remaining, which means I might try and do I'll stream a little game or something as they're ending to let people know one last time. But running out of time, and I don't know when they'll come back. You never know with these sorts of things. So if you wanted to get a cuddly version of me to watch movies with, or Fringy, if you get us both 10% off. But if you grab them now, because you got very little time left. I'll probably do a tweet as well to see if you use Twitter. I'll let you know when you've got 0 time. But I know some people, we're on the fence about it. So it's just last chance if you were interested or not. Other than that, I have videos. You can watch them if you want.
They're really long.
They're real long.
Yep, that's why it's called The Long Man. And I think you're plushies will still be going real BBC on Tuesday, right? Will it be over by then?
Oh yeah, I think they will be actually. Okay, that'll be the last time I promote them. Then.
We'll do that. We'll do that. Thanks for being here, MauLer. Love you, man.
No problem.
Best.
Love it.
Shad and Brooks.
Hey.
You like what?
Oh, is there anything I'd like to plug?
I can't.
Yeah, guys, graphic novel is out. Big thing, big launch, exciting about it. And I invested a lot of money to try and make the best graphic novel I can. Phenomenal artist. And we had like a colorist that come on board and he did like 10 pages. It wasn't good enough. Still had to pay him, but I was like, no, we're starting all over again because I wanted to, as I said, make the best quality product that I could make for you guys, and I really think you'll enjoy it. Go check it out. It's on Indiegogo, and you can also grab my novel if you haven't tried it out already. It's a second edition, and if you just want the collector's version, leatherbound is available as well. And as always, Shadiversity, Night's Watch. Night's Watch is where I do all my reviews, all those crazy rants where I end up screaming about Rings of Power. It's all there.
Yeah.
Jayne,
Yes.
anything you'd like to plug, like your channel?
Yeah. I have my Saturday live streams at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can check that out. And I've been doing Rings of Power lore videos, basically pointing out the flaws in the show with different characters. So the last one had to do with the Harfoots, the Hobbit non-Hobbits. And I have 2 videos coming out this week, one on the orcs, everything they got wrong having to do with them, and the Numenorians, which they continue to present in the worst possible way. But yeah, definitely check that out. And on Thursdays, I review She-Hulk with Az on Heels versus Babyface.
That's and they're brilliant, by the way.
They're hilarious. Just
Thank you.
half the time, Jade's laughing her head off at Az. It's
Yes.
great.
Az is having aneurysms like mini.
Yeah.
But yes, buy Shad's graphic novel. Of course, I will mention the Rip-A-Verse. The Rip-A-Verse is awesome, and he's about ready to fulfill. He's been busy as hell. We love Eric July. He's a good dude.
And also, Clownfish TV have a graphic novel that's available on Indiegogo as well. And there's a lot of independent creators that are trying to make new media. Also,
Drunk 3PO has his graphic novel. It's going to be out soon.
Yep, and Rageaholic, Razor Fist.
Razor
He's got a
Fist.
book out.
Yes.
And then if you look up, the Comicsgate creators, well, they got heaps of graphic novels. So there's a lot of independent media that people are making to try and push back against this woke crap. And there's heaps out there.
Oh my
guys.
God, my senility is it's the long Moonlight. That's the first book. I'm blanking on the second name. Razor Fist. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just getting old. Hey, Geek Grind Coffee. Yeah, Geek Grind Coffee. I'm always powered by Geek Grind Coffee. 4 cups a day, 4 cups of black coffee a day, minimum. Yes, I'm probably compensating for all the speed I took. And my male physician says it's harmless as long as it's black coffee. Doesn't have a bunch of sugar and garbage in it. So yeah, and that's that. And I'm working on a Marvel. I was going to do a She-Hulk mid-season review, and it turned into something completely different because I'm like, how am I going to say? Well, they looked at shoes and bought some outfits.
She-Hulk is incredibly pointless. It's amazing. It's like, wow.
It really is. And
I agree.
But it allows me, it gives me the whole thesis of my video, which is beautiful.
I can't wait.
Might have something to do with MCU. Might. Because I know everybody loves that saying so much. You want to bring the stands to the yard, just say MCU. Yes. So thank you, everyone. I really enjoy doing these. So we're gonna do them for the rest of the year. And this is it's just a pleasure doing these. So thanks for joining us, everyone.
I just realized that it'll be just before Halloween, right? Will be the last one of this. 5 weeks, correct?
Oh wow, is it? So I'll be doing
the 26th would be our last. Well, that's a very vague estimate. I haven't checked yet, but yeah, sorry, because we're on my 19th right now, so it'll be 26th, 3rd,
it's my
17th, 24th. Yeah, the 24th will be the last one we do, I think, of next month.
Yeah, that's a week before I go to Orlando for the meetup.
Yeah.
Time
So-
just right.
Just on the note of interesting dates, the next Rings of Power comes out in Australia on my birthday, and I need to watch, slog through that whole thing and review for my birthday. What a great way to celebrate it! Thanks, Amazon, you friggin' bastards.
She-Hulk premiered on mine. Not as bad.
Not as bad, but
It's bad. Hey, I want. Is that next week? You said
This week, so the 23rd.
It's this
is my
week.
birthday.
Oh, all right. Well, everybody, mark it down.
But better yet, there's a way to save it because the 23rd in the US is Friday. And for me, that's Saturday, but I'll be able to celebrate the US date of my birthday with the good folks over on Friday Night Tights. That'll redeem it. The pain I'll have to go on through.
Why is there F's in the chat? That's terrible. No, we'll sing at the end of the episode because we got to save the best for last. You know,
it's the greatest, like just
beautiful.
Masterful.
Okay,
masterful.
2 super chats. We out of here. So Cyber Bilge for 10 British pounds. Proper money. Okay, Rings of Power is terrible, but I love Jupiter Ascending and Gods of Egypt. So I'm all in until the end. Love film and TV production videos and have a bad content is always more interesting. You know, like when things are normally bad, like Jupiter Ascending is awful, but I could find some visual enjoyment in it. Gods of Egypt was ridiculous, but it's not bad like Rings of Power, because Rings of Power could have been good if they had not gone with the modernity. If they just didn't go with modern storytelling, they absolutely shot themselves in the foot before they even got started. So
they intentionally bastardized this for political reasons, and they get everything they deserve for its failure.
Yep. And then you got House of the Dragon that doesn't need to beat you over the head with their themes at the cost of the story. And ultimately, it's still a fantasy story. It's just a fantasy story told from a very practical, random, people die, horrible things happen. We can't control everything. They're all gods, but they're terrible. And we're going to base it on a lot of human history, which is totally fine. One is a mythology and one is based on history. So that's the big difference. Shadow Knight, by the way, George R. Martin still J.R.R. Tolkien's bitch. Just don't ever forget that. MauLer, thanks for your entertaining Doctor Strange video. I made an edit of every single Ben come you said. No way.
I've seen that. Yeah, someone's made a video of every single time I use this name.
That is awesome. I need that video, Shadow Knight. Is it just your name, Shadow Knight, on YouTube? And then I'll look it up. All right, so now we really got to go. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to Eric and all the Nerdrotics out there. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and a donation. You help keep the lights on around here. There will be a square up Thursday, and we will see you next Sunday, 9:15 p.m. after House of the Dragon. We're doing this all year. Ciao, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See yous.